Okay, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's live video. We are going to be talking about oneness, the whirling rainbow prophecy, and global peace. So, hello and welcome. My name is James Malins and I will be your host for this evening. That's just a little ode to David because I know that he used to start his live videos like that. So I just wanted to say hello and welcome to everybody. I appreciate all of you very much. I have the comments since our last live video have been truly wonderful. You know, you have all shared such loving thoughts, such kindness, to myself and to the fact that we're doing these live global meditations together. So I just wanted to give you my heartfelt gratitude for all of you being here today. And if you are watching the replay, it doesn't matter if you're not able to join us live, because the effect of meditating with one another is still equally as powerful. So there really has to be something said about each and every person meditating together. So, okay, guys. Hello, Yelena. Welcome, Bradine. Thank you so much for being here. Leilu, Kristin, Susie. Thank you all for tuning in. Gretchen, I notice quite a few people from last week, so it's really nice to have you here. Katerina, welcome from Italy. It's an absolute pleasure for you all to be here today. So, Mother, welcome. Love you very much. Can I just say, so there's two things I would like to do with you guys, first of all. So my dear mother sent me my very old but very wonderful microphone from hers. So how's the audio this week? Is it better? Can you hear me loud and clear? You'll have to let me know in the comments. So it's my absolute pleasure, Leilu. Gail, thank you so much for tuning in. Violet Lotus, lovely name, thank you for tuning in. Right, guys, so I'm just going to do a couple of quick checks just to make sure everything's looking good. If I pop my headphones on here, I'm just going to try to listen to my audio, see if I can hear it here. Great, okay. Well, that seems good. Audio's fine, so clear, wonderful. That's really good. I was very aware that last week's live stream, when I listened back to it, you all did a fantastic job sticking around because the audio was really, it was quite quiet. So, anyway, one thing I would like to do. So last week you did all hear me with my little emotional moment when we were watching David's live, blowing my nose. So on this microphone, I did mute it on OBS, but on this microphone I can actually mute it on the microphone. So in 5 seconds, I'm going to click mute, and if you guys just comment and let me know if you can hear me or not, because if you can't, perfect, because that means I can have a little private moment without you all hearing. So I'm just going to press it now, and hopefully I can see it there, so I'm pretty sure you guys won't be able to hear me. That's true. And I'll pop it back on, so now you should be able to hear me loud and clear. So, Yelena, thank you so much. Hi to your mum for raising a wonderful son. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the lovely comment. Nancy says, we hear you. Oh, you can still hear me. Why? How is that? Very interesting. Well, I don't know why that is, guys. So I'll have to make sure that if I am going to blow my nose, I leave the room. 1 second there. So I did see my dear friend Lucas coming in. I will make him a moderator really quick. Managing moderator. Thank you very much. Can still hear me. Well, okay. That means you have the raw, unfiltered version of me this week. So, so what I've done, I know you guys may have seen the little slide, so we're going to pop back over in just a second to go through some things. So, in fact, we'll do that now because we have a little schedule so that you guys know what we're going to get up to and what we're going to be talking about today and how we will do our live meditations. So I would like to do the same format that we did before, which is going to be 7 roughly 3-minute meditations every 33 minutes for the full period of time. Celeste, hi, welcome so much. I'm sorry I haven't replied back to you just yet. Was really trying to get everything ready in the slides today because I have a lot of exciting and very curious things to share with you guys today. You know, there's ever since the last live stream, a lot has happened and it's been really, really miraculous. So Patty, thank you so much for tuning in. Tiffany, thank you for being here. It's very nice to see you here. Sarah, Nikki, Logan, Ellie, Harry, I really, really appreciate you guys being here. So we're just going to go over to the full monitor again. And today, as I say, we're going to be talking, predominantly we'll be talking about the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy. Now, one thing that I really liked about David is he explored all kinds of different cultures. He explored different cultures and different ancient histories, ancient monuments, and all kinds of elements of our world that could be alluding to certain truths or certain ideas. Okay, so first thing I want to say is wherever you are, David, whatever it is you are doing, thank you. Thank you, my friend, for all that you have done for all of us. We are deeply grateful to you because there is a web of circumstance that is currently happening. Okay, there is a very curious set of events, you know, because the big thing, and we'll get into this, the big thing that has really come forward is the fact that David's last live stream was called Pathway to Peace. Okay, so I'm going to go into a lot of things today. A significant amount is going to be quite personal actually, but we're going to be mixing that in with exploring the rainbow prophecy of the Native American Navajo people and what it might mean for ourselves and for humanity in this moment. Okay, so just going to have a quick drink here. Laura says, yes, watching David related videos every day. I love that. Somebody has mentioned that the website, you have double sound happening. Oh, I apologise. Hold on, guys. Okay, if I do that, has it fixed it? That might actually be what the problem was. Apologies for that, guys. So we've got my camera. Let me turn that off. My main microphone, hopefully, and my screen. Has that fixed it, guys? Thank you, Annie. I know you've had a look at the what am I thinking of? The behind the scenes. There we go. The behind the scenes of today's presentation. Let me know, guys. Is there still an echo, or are we all okay now? Sound is good here. Fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. I'm not experiencing an echo. Lily, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. So, the schedule for today's live stream. Deborah says, Brother Davis has passed the baton and James is now running the race for the truth. Well, not quite. You know, I want to be very inclusive with what we're all doing. You know, there is, I mean, we're going to go into a lot of things today, but I really do feel minimal echo. Oops, still echo. Oh, I apologise. I should only have one source of my microphone, which is weird. I don't know why. Oh, okay, that's a shame. Let me just listen in here, see if I can do anything about this. No echo here. Thank you for your patience, guys. I appreciate it very much. No echo here. We can live with it. Well, I'd prefer you to be able to have a good and... Well, I'd prefer you to be able to have a... Oh, guys, I don't know what's going on there. It's not awful. I can live with it. Echo's worse now. Oh, yikes. Okay, why would that be? Well, Brother David, I'm sure you're going to be laughing at this as well, because display capture show cursor. Oh no. Let's just come back a second, guys. Do you still have echo if I'm on this screen? It's fine now. Maybe the one in your ear and the headphones. Well, this one's going to a separate phone, Erica, so I'm not sure why it would be picking that up. The only thing I can think of, there's only one source of audio. It's very bizarre. Blue Snowball, main microphone and Blue Snowball. Active, active, active. Technical difficulties, eh, guys? It's tolerable, don't worry. Feedback loop sounds okay, I'm good. Well, I appreciate that very much, guys. Maybe if on a PC microphone properties 2 channel, if on a PC microphone. If you give me 30 seconds, I'll try and maybe fix it here. Input. No. Sounds good now. Thank you, James. Sounds fine here. Okay, guys. Well, interesting. No idea. No idea what's going on. Fixed. Well, when I go across to the other screen, it might unfix it, but we'll give it a shot, guys, anyway. Okay. So, the schedule for today's live stream. So first of all, this is our second live stream of doing our global live peace meditations. Of course, I wanted to thank you very much, all of you, for your lovely comments in the last live stream and in the videos that we've been putting together. So I wanted to address something just before we started. A few people had mentioned about, letting David rest and not abusing this unfortunate event for clicks. And they are absolutely right. Now, I know that a lot of you who are tuning in at the minute, you understand, we've already been able to get acquainted, and we've already been able to have that previous live stream and to go ahead and get an idea of who I am and create this space with each other. So I wanted to just share that everybody who has been a little bit upset, you're well within your right to feel that way, because I have seen quite a few individuals who claim to have been, perhaps channeling David, and everybody's been bringing forward different bits of information. So if you are watching this and you have been upset, I just want you to know that we're doing this to keep the community of David alive. We all appreciated every Sunday. We appreciated David. And in David's last live stream, he had mentioned, please, influencers, people, anybody, help me to do these global live peace meditations. So I just want to say I'm grateful to all of you who have been here. And if you are tuning in and you felt a little bit upset by that, then I get it. I understand. There's nothing wrong with questioning. There's nothing wrong with questioning me, because a lot, as my dear brother and I, Lucas, have spoken quite a bit. It's very hard, because of the world we live in, for people to trust. There's always a sales pitch, usually. There's always something that comes along with it. And so I understand how you guys have felt, and that's all I wanted to say. So you're well within your right to feel that way. But get an idea, feel for ourselves, a feel for the community, and you'll understand why we're doing this. So, like I say, thank you for your patience there, guys. Excuse me with the audio. We'll get back to our little presentation. Or enormous presentation, whichever. Both are true, actually. So tonight we will be doing 7 3-minute meditations, roughly every 33 minutes for 3 hours and 33 minutes. So we're already 15 minutes in currently. So in about 15 minutes we'll do our first one. We will also be exploring the Hopi Rainbow Prophecy and what implications that could have for the future of our Earth. We will be exploring oneness and what ancient cultures appear to know about the nature of humanity in our world. Although I will be honest with you guys, there is a good chance that this is going to be a part 1 and a part 2 because there's a lot more. I ended up going through a lot more than I realised at the time. And then finally, we will seek to understand what peace on Earth could in fact look like. So I wanted to share with you guys recently, since that last live stream, I have had the most incredible set of experiences. Some of them I'm clutching a little bit, but some of the other ones are so obvious that it truly has blown my mind. So Kimmy, thank you for tuning in. James, I thought you have been very respectful in all of your mentions of David, and we appreciate it and appreciate you making a space for our Sunday family to continue our peace meditations. I really appreciate that. Is it Zoichka? Zoichka? Have I pronounced that correctly? Dolores says David was cyberbullied. Some of those comments may have come from the same. Yeah, and it's true. I get it. But in the spirit of peace and love and unity and oneness, I wanted to make sure that I was, chatting with those people, because these are this whole philosophy of the Hopi Whirling Rainbow Prophecy of peace is that we have to get to love our all people, our friends, our family, our brothers, and even our perceived enemies, those who would be upset and might cast shade our way. So anyway, if you guys are ready, I'm going to go through some of the synchronicities that have come forward. So I've had some really miraculous 333 synchronicities. So on Monday, just the day after the live stream, when I woke up in the morning, I checked some of the social media. Again, you've all been very gracious with comments and your support. And I had 333 shares on the photo that I had posted in regards to offering the space for David's live stream. The same day, so I checked the impressions of all of the videos, so all the videos that I shared and that you guys have engaged with, and there was 33,000, sorry, I do that every time, 33.3 thousand impressions, and at this point it was, it was truly, truly blowing my mind. The same day, so a gentleman had posted about a song that David had posted 17 years ago. So you'll see here, just on the left-hand side, The Wanderer Awakening, The Decision, and the channel is Joan Wheaton. So you guys can go and check this yourself. And this video specifically here, you can hear David. You can hear David singing. It's a very lovely song, very interesting lyrics, if you guys get a chance to have a look at that after the live stream. But I thought to myself, I'll have a look at Joan's channel, see if there's any more. And when I did, I saw this. So I hope you noticed that on the last slide, I had this video here, and the very top video was 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So 3 synchronicities is pretty miraculous. This is like, wow, okay, this is really interesting. 3 synchronicities, but it didn't stop there. So the same day, now this one's clutching a little bit here, but I was planning, so I'd been thinking about splitting up my sleep cycle, okay? So quite a few people have mentioned that the circadian rhythm of the human being is actually less adapted to sleeping for 8 hours and is more adapted to sleeping for 4. Now, I've heard a lot of ancient philosophers, whether it's true or not, you guys will have to decide for yourself, but a lot of ancient philosophers and quite a lot of people who did very profound work in our world, they would wake up at a period of time in the morning. Now, I have experienced myself that when I wake up at a certain period of time, roughly whether it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, ironically, I'd feel very alert, or I'd feel very tapped in, should we say, quite tuned in. And I feel like I could get a lot of things through that were appropriate for me, wisdom for myself. And so I felt like there was a bit of interest there. Well, I was finishing up a load of things, and I knew, I had a feeling, that when I got back home to go to sleep, it would be 23:33, and it was, which would have meant, if I woke up 4 hours later, it would have been 33 minutes past 3 in the morning. Now, yes, we're clutching a little bit there, and that's okay, but still, I thought it was very, very curious that that was the case. Scotch says I find myself in 45-minute cycles. Yeah, interesting. I certainly find that with my work. My mother says I would like to share with everyone that I was 33 when James was born. There you go. There's another interesting synchronicity. Have a look here. Elena, again, thank you for being here. Colorado, thank you everybody for tuning in. Going back to the slides here. So that was this one, which was 11:33. And then Lucas, my good friend, he showed me that there was a gentleman here who had done a video on the 333 synchronicities. I don't know whether this was the same moment or the following day, we were talking roughly at 33 minutes past 11 or around those times. And I was reading a book. Now, don't ask why I was reading this book. I decided just to pick it up and go through a few pages. But it's called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Now, that's ironically the complete opposite of what we're talking about in this live stream. However, just for the sake of a bit of literature, just to look at how certain ancient events happened, I was on this page and I was reading about a pickle, Picul, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, which works out at 133.3 pounds. So this really was getting to the point where, and this was Tuesday last week, that it's getting to the point where this is really bizarre what's happening here. And then Friday, again, so I woke up in the morning, checked my notifications, and I had 333 likes on this post that I'd made about the live streams that we'd been doing, which, again, really, really miraculous. And again, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of SpaceX. I'm not saying what they're doing is terrible, but, you know, I can't say I'm that. But I decided to click on this video, and when I looked down, there was 3,333 comments. So at this point, I'm starting to really lose my mind with how incredible this set of synchronicities is. And then I was trying to format my hard drive, and I look, and I had 333 gigabytes left on my hard drive, and this was on Saturday, so this was yesterday, because I wanted to make sure that everything would be spot on and okay for today. And so I found myself wondering that it's a good job that I'm around people who understand, or I might look a bit insane. I had a lot of fun making this image, if you can't tell. So, yeah, a little nerdy bit there. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? So, yes, in regards to exploring, I can hear a small echo. Is somebody else hearing that echo on YouTube? I apologise if you're still hearing that, Suzanne. If anybody else is still struggling with that, I really am very stumped as to why that's happening. I literally, on my thing here, I only have, I've only got one source of audio, so I can't figure that one out, to be honest. But yeah, like I say, I hope the audio's okay, guys. I hope it's not too bad. Again, I've only got... Oh, do you know what it is? Hold on. I bet I know what it is. Let me turn this off. Let me turn this off and see if it fixes it. So that's gone now. That's gone now. And let me know if you can still hear... Do you have your iPhone on? Diana, you're very... That's really interesting. You just picked up on that, because I just realised that I think it might be my iPhone. No change? Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, it might be my camera, but I don't. My camera should only be the camera. It shouldn't be a microphone. But anyway, still the same. All right, guys. Well, I do apologise for that. But yeah, so I'll try and fix that in a second. I just kind of want to keep the engagement with you guys going as well. It's when you look to your right, is it? Let me try that. See if that's any better. Not computer mic, at least you have some lovely voice. I appreciate that, Sarah. That's one thing. If you're hearing two of me, then hopefully it's not too bad. So yes, Donna, really appreciate that. So yeah, it was just nine different synchronicities. Call it 8. If one of them was pushing a little bit, that's fine. But there was about 8 333 synchronicities. And I mean, I'm all into numerology, guys. I really am. Like I've had a lot of numerological symbolism that has pointed me on the path. Now I can hear one of you instead of 3. Is that better? You can block devices. You can, no idea, guys. Mic mode, standard, voice ice. Would that work? Whoopsie. That's not what I want. Not better, but I try my best. In sound settings. Oh, I don't know, guys. Blue snowball, main microphone, desktop. I tell you what. I'm going to try to... Maybe I'll try to... No echo now. Normal now. Okay. What have I done? It's better. Alright, guys. Well, look. In the spirit of David, he had a lot of technical difficulties, and we're doing the same here. Alright? We're keeping the spirit of the Sunday lives alive, okay? If we haven't got technical difficulties, it isn't a David Wilcock inspired live stream, alright? Oh, okay. I don't think it will be, Lucas. If it is, then this microphone has quantum level subatomic pickup. So anyway, apologies, guys. Right, maybe we can get back on track now. So yeah, I'm all into numerology. I deeply connect with those little whispers. You know, I know that the universe whispers to us through numbers. I know a lot of you guys will resonate with that. And there was 8 of them. You know, take one off. Let's take the timing one, a little bit soft, but the others were ridiculous. You know, the 3,333 comments. It could have been anything else. It could have been 3334. It could have been 3335. It could have been anything. But it was 3333. So I took that as a very humbling sign that we're doing something wonderful here, you know, and it's not just me. I'm deeply grateful that you guys are sharing this space with me, but it's all of us. You know, this isn't a live stream without each of us coming together, you know, so I think we have to, we've got to also appreciate that, you know, it's all of us coming to spend time with each other, you know, so, excuse me. The echo is okay. Don't know what's going on, guys. Maybe there's interference going on. We won't say any more, shall we? Peace from Arizona. Katie, thank you so much for being here. Celestial Rose, appreciate you tuning in. Soul Coach Suzanne, I remember you when you were tuning in last week, so thank you again for being here. This is just like David to let you know he is here through technology glitches which you are working through beautifully. Thank you, guys. You're so gracious. Is there reverb on? I don't know. I'm properties. Enable down mixing. Channel 1, front, left and right. Still slight echo. Okay, I don't know. Don't know what is going on. Let me know if that's better. Look, guys, do you know what? It's not professional. David was a professional. He knew what he was doing, so I'm fixed. We can only hope, guys. David knew what he was doing. He had the professional equipment. I'm still a novice. Hope I'll get there at one point. We are here to be together, to grieve and honour David, to support you and for bless you, Suzanne. Yes, and this is, you know, the miraculous thing here. So I've shared those 333 synchronicities. I really can't let go of the fact that David's last live was Pathway to Peace, you know. And then for me, I mean, I've always been very connected with the Native American philosophies, and and they've been coming through very strong at the minute. So let's just go back over to our presentation for a second. So I just wanted to, for those of you that weren't here last week, or you might not remember, we went through a few different things. We went through the photon of light, which was very much one of David's presentations. We talked about the yin and yang and the toroidal field, and this was a really lovely image. I do have to credit the gentleman eventually. I believe I do have the credit for the gentleman who has this image, but I love the fact that it had the rainbow within this toroidal field. Then we discussed the secret places of the lion, the raw material, the cymatics, which I love this particular one because it's very much the four directions, the symbol of light that you can see up in the top left here. Can you see my cursor? Yeah, look at that, you can. So this here is very much symbolic of the cymatics that we're seeing here. And then obviously the whirling rainbow prophecy, again, you have these four directions, right? You have the same symbolism of light here that we have here. So the Hopi whirling rainbow peace prophecy. So what is the whirling rainbow prophecy? The whirling rainbow is the promise of peace among all nations and all people. The Whirling Rainbow Peace Prophecy has what's called the 12 cycles of truth. Now, this is also very important at the minute, as we will explore a little bit further on, that truth is very important now because everybody has their idea of what is true. And I want you to know, I'm just going to come back to chat with you guys a second. I want you to know that in these lives, as we proceed, and if you guys choose to stick around, and we do this every Sunday, and we all come together to do the peace meditations, as we talk about the topics in and amongst that, I want you to know that truth is found in the eye of the beholder, right? Truth is found within you, right? So I've been saying to quite a few people at the minute, maybe the echo is David. Yeah, it could have been, very much so. You know, I know it might have, okay, we seem to have fixed it now, but again, it's that little, we're just going to have to get used to technical issues, guys. Which is, I'm okay with that. You guys are all very kind with, and with your patience. So, it's important to understand that truth is based upon perspective. Okay, we've all got belief, we've all had different experiences, we've all got different opinions, we've all got different ideas of life. But there is something that we're going to discuss later on, which is exploring, and Lucas will love this, axiomatic truth, or axioms, which is self-evident truths. I say axiomatic truths, which is probably nonsense because it's the same thing. But axioms, okay, self-evident truths. Like, for example, if I was to drop this bottle, it's going to fall because there is a law of our universe, which is gravity, until we supposedly are able to change that. Gravity means that the bottle will fall, okay? So there are more elements to our world that are self-evident truths that we can walk with to find our own truth. So axioms. But anyway, there are 12 cycles of truth, which is learning truth, observing truth, loving truth, working truth, honouring truth, hearing truth, serving truth, walking, accepting, presenting, living, and being grateful for truth. So it's just a very curious principle of the rainbow peace prophecy. Now it's 34 minutes, guys, so I would like to do our first peace meditation, and I would like to do, as we did last time, start with David in the beginning of the 7 meditations and end with David. So if this is a 2-part live stream, that's okay with me because it gives us plenty to go through next weekend. So we're just going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to come out of here. Now remember, guys, that the meditation effect is very real. Okay, it is very real. It is being studied by Heart Math, and there's also a movement that's known as, I believe, transcendental meditation, which is all about understanding that when groups of people come together and meditate upon peace and goodwill and love and compassion, that it radiates throughout the world. Okay, so all 222 people. 221, but maybe somebody's lurking and they're going to come in and out. I don't know. So, all 221 of us, as we do these meditations, we start to have a very real effect on the world. So it's a very beautiful thing to do. So, we're just going to come across here. Some of you might notice your comments. This is David's live before last. And so, hopefully, it won't be too loud. This is David's live before last. And whoops, so hopefully, can't you? It won't. Sorry guys, fixed it. Okay guys, so if you're ready, we're just going to go through part 1 of David's global meditation in this video. So we're just going to full screen here, and hopefully, if I do this...
This radiance is always yours to enjoy, in each and every moment, now and forever.
Let me know what the volume is, guys.
Remain calm, centered, and peaceful. And embrace the glory that innately resonates within you.
Is it on? Oops, it's very quick. Okay, guys, so we're just going to go back a little bit. And when you're ready, I'd like you all just to take a nice deep breath. And as you breathe out, just relax. And we're going to spend this next few minutes just with David, going through part 1 of his meditation from the live before last.
Simply relax your breathing, remain calm, centered, and peaceful, and embrace the glory that innately resonates within you and all others. The journey of infinity can happen within a single moment of space and time. The outpouring of the universe can be understood without any complex body of knowledge. This is your time to transform, for it is in those darkest and most difficult moments that the love of the universe reveals itself to you. At times, these changes come through great difficulty, strife, and pain, and that does not change the significance of meeting these requirements in the least. You are called to greatness, to understand and respect a harmony that goes far beyond the limitations of space and time. You are living in a grand illusion whose precepts can be easily understood, even as the journey of mastering them can be the work of many incarnations. This is a time to arise to your mastery, to draw upon the strength that naturally arises from the Spirit indwelling within you. This is a time to behold the great quest, to live and to love and to be happy in the majesty of an infinite tomorrow, as the time of all times becomes your own now. Vakapalo says these words are fertilizers for our soils/souls. Yeah, so it's very, very beautiful. So anyway. Good enough. Thank you, guys. Let's keep going. You are called to be a being of wonderment, amazement, and genius, to live and to love, free from the fears that plague the minds of so many others. You are called to embrace the great promise of the one infinite Creator, that you shall also do the noble works of the great masters and greater things. That's John 14:12. As I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. To live life with the promise of that glory being achieved is to be reborn in the light. The ineffable essence of infinity opens up to you in myriad different fashions. There is no end to the discovery, the exploration, and the thrill of your new understanding, now made physical from the world of the ephemeral. You have the free will to do as you choose, to defy these understandings for as long as you may see fit. The universe will do its part to gently but firmly steer you back on course, so as to renew your commitment to the great calling that impels you from time immemorial. Now is a time for action, excitement, change, and transfiguration in the light of the One, Now is a time to step out of the hologram that once so precisely defined your limitations. Now is a time to seek the definitions that unlock the doors of infinity and that can be found within you each and every moment simply by going to your quiet point. Understand that you are surrounded by a loving presence that will never leave you. You rise above the apparent obstacles set before you in your path and are transformed by the understandings that this infinite love conveys. That stirring within you is a call to greatness, and it can be yours in each and every moment. Behold the glory that is your birthright. Remember the calling that brought you here. Live in the presence of an infinite tomorrow and allow yourself to relax in the notion that all is well and always will be. Even in those moments of great despair, this infinite presence is right there with you, now and forever. And so I'm reading a couple of your comments here. I'm going to have to replay to remember the calling. Hard to moderate and appreciate at the same time, says Gene Novacek. I get that. Christina says, this is the kind of messaging I replay to myself over and over throughout the week. Beautiful stuff. Always just the reminders I need to hear. Robert Shepard says, beautiful words. Linda Korsiak, worthy of its own scroll. Who communicated this message? Is Archangel Michael the one who communicated this message through you, David? I think for today, we'll just call it the inner Christ. I mean, let's go right up to the source. I just tuned into whatever I felt was going to get me the greatest results. And I think the Christ consciousness is good enough for now. But yeah.
So I wanted to do that first bit just because there are a couple of very interesting points there. And I've been reading all of your comments as we were listening there, and I totally understand. There's so many, so many beautiful things that you guys have been saying. I'll just scroll up here. Suzanne, you mentioned, by the way, James, this is Suzanne who reached out to you privately. Yep, I'm definitely going to get back to you. It's been really quite a busy time, but I definitely will. Let's have a look here. I noticed that somebody said, how can tears in my eyes, he's smiling so sweet. Yes, it was. I can also tell he was very tired in that video as well. Remember your calling. Yep. Free Queen says his voice, has it really been 2 Sundays? It has. It's crazy. It's actually, so this one we're watching is the third, so 3 Sundays ago. That was the video that we were just watching there. How Angels says, how do you meditate when you're crying so hard? Well, it's a very healing, cathartic. Is that the right word? Very healing to be able to do that as well. So our first meditation has been with David. Kiki says, I've not slept so well. I have so many questions. I wish I asked our brother David. Yep. Well, and this is the thing. So just to go back, guys, this is the interesting thing with those synchronicities. You'll notice that I'm not as emotional, or if anything, I feel that the emotion has settled in me completely this weekend. Because last weekend, especially after the rawness of the news coming forwards, it wasn't easy, because again, you see, for a lot of us, David was this massive chapter of our lives, and all of a sudden it's just come to a close, and we don't really have the answers. Because again, there are a lot of people out there who've been quite aggressive with their opinions on, how dare you question, and this and that. And it's like, well, we have a right to at this point. Everybody who's watching this video is well within their right to question our reality, right? That means to question the events that happen, to question me, who I am, what I'm sharing, the reason why I'm doing this, my motives. We have a right to question, because a lot of the times it does now feel that there is a hidden agenda, or another reason as to why a person would be doing something. So we have to just be okay with the fact that we're allowed to question. Okay? So Soul Coach Suzanne says there will never be another like David ever, but we will have to keep going together and love each other through as long as it takes. Absolutely, of course, and that's the thing. We're all individuals. This is the beauty of being unique people. We all have something to offer. We all have something to present. And so David was David. As much as we are all each other. So it's beautiful to be able to celebrate together this very interesting chain. Celebrate David. What I mean by that is, you see, for me, I'm very much in what's happened and what is coming forwards. So for me, there's been this very much a sensation of comfort, knowing that whether he's still here or not, there's almost like this baton that's passed to us, and with what we're doing. So, Bevy says, I miss you so much, David. Yep. I can hardly read chat through my tears, says Free Queen. Bless you. Diana says David is family. And Leilu says fanning the spark that David created. Yep. Oh, bless you, Christian. And that's a very that's a very lovely comment to say. Yep, Yelena, I think we're all with you on that one. Although, again, it's like this is the trick of our world, is that with a lot of things nobody can really know. This is why we're going to start talking about that element of truth. What is truth? How can we know? How can we find those truths that give us comfort that we can actually use? Because a lot in the world, it's a lot of separation, and it's a lot of things that are like, how do we come together? So. Bright Butterfly Wing, beautiful name, says, let's be happy for David. He's feeling happy and is at peace. Yeah, beautiful. I hear you. Okay, right, guys. So that was our first meditation. So we are currently, let's have a look here, 46. So it'll be about an hour and 10 minutes, give or take. We'll go and do our next one. So, right, let me just make sure. Am I on the right slide here? Yes, so whoops, go back to present. We were at Cycles of Truth, weren't we? There we go. Full monitor. Okay, guys. So the 12 Cycles of Truth. There are a few main components of the Whirling Rainbow Peace Prophecy by the Navajo and the Hopi people. One of them is environmental healing. When the earth is ravaged and animals are dying, a new tribe of people will emerge to restore the planet. Which, again, the wording is, I'll explain to you a bit later on why that's very curious. Not only is it environmental healing, but it's unity. People of all colours, races and creeds will put aside their differences to join hands in love and harmony. Wisdom will return, which will teach people how to live in balance and harmony with each other and the planet. Equality and peace. By all nations, creeds and people coming together, we find an ethical equality hinted at, which we shall talk about shortly. Now, I wanted to share with you a very interesting dream. Now, I googled this flag, and I have forgotten what this flag is, which is terribly unprofessional, so you'll have to forgive me. But I had a very weird dream on Thursday last week. I had a dream where I was walking through an agricultural field, which again is quite appropriate. So I don't know how you guys feel about AI, and I don't use it all the time, but I did on Canva. There is an option, and I typed in, and it gave a pretty accurate image that was my dream. Okay, so I was having a dream, and I was walking through these very desolate agricultural fields, the monocultural fields. Please remove the sound effects when you change pages. Okay, that's a really good point, and I I don't know how I can do that in a minute. So you might have to forgive me with the old fancy sun change that I've got. These are very old templates I used, so that is quite funny. Yeah. But anyway, so my dream, I was in these agricultural fields, and there was these flagpoles, and there was either mud or soil on these flagpoles, and I had this hose pipe trying to clean the mud off. And in the distance, there was the Cedars of Lebanon. Thank you very much, Deborah. You very Yes, Cedars of Lebanon, thank you. So, apologies, Lebanon. I don't know why the Lebanon flag is the one it chose. Maybe there's something. You said Cedars of Lebanon, and the ringing cedars is very interesting, so maybe there's a connection there. Um, but yeah, so there was a storm in the distance, so I'm trying to clean these flags. I'll come back and chat face to face. So in this dream, I was trying to clean these flags with this hose pipe, and so I was trying to get the mud off of the flags. In the distance, there was a storm, and in my head, I got this little whisper: "Stop trying to clean the flags. The storm will do it itself." And there's when we're talking about the whirling rainbow prophecy, you're going to understand why that's very profound. Okay, but so I'm trying to clean them. I drop the hose pipe, and it says that the storm that's coming. Not that I'm suggesting there's a storm. We don't know what's coming in the future. I like to move on to the side of positivity and abundance and peace and harmony and love. There is a journey of Earth, and I think we're all a part of that. But this dream said, as this storm is coming, don't bother trying to wash the mud off the flags. The rains of the storm will do that for you. And then as I was walking back, so I was walking back to the road because my partner Annie was in the dream, sort of laid down to the side. I saw this little, like a beagle dog with puppies, and it was really scared. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, we've got to bring this dog with us. We've got a cardboard box." And when I woke up, for the first time in my life, I had one of the most clear understandings of what a dream meant to me that I've ever had in my life. And what I got is that don't worry about trying to or don't worry about trying to clean the mud off of the ideas of why people are separate, why people are separated, why people are angry with each other, why people are have this illusion of separation and hatred for one another. Don't worry about that too much, because the rains of the storm that are coming will wash all that away and people will unite. Now, what does that sound like? Right? That sounds very much like the Rainbow Hopi prophecy. Now um, we're going to read the this is my what I like to call my old reliables, my sacred path cards. And in this book there is the whirling rainbow. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about cards, but think of this as a collection of wisdom which has a card to choose from. If you're not a fan of cards, if you don't like them, that's fine. Totally understand that. But consider them a collection of Native American knowledge from the Seneca and Navajo people that's gathered in this book. So we're going to read from the Whirling Rainbow, and it talks about the rains. Okay, so the Whirling Rainbow woman, when she comes and she brings the rains, it will nourish. So this dream was just very oddly symbolic. But with the little dog and the puppies, it was saying just try to do your best to love and take care of the innocent and the vulnerable. Okay, so don't worry about the big stuff as such. Seek your best to take care of the innocent and the vulnerable, those who need you the most. So I just thought that this was a really appropriate and beautiful idea for us all to consider, and to think about. So, by the way, guys, I know we did this last time. Let me know where you all are tuning in from. Let's have a look here. We've got 229 people tuning in. I want to thank you all very much for coming to spend this time with us. It's very, deeply appreciated. So, Free Queen says David is the one who got me to keep a dream journal. Yes, it's interesting. So, one of the courses that I bought of David's, it was all about. I can't actually remember. Again, I've had it out. It was about three or 4 years ago. One of the main chapters in there was about dreams, and I have been meaning to go back to it. JD Scotch from Grantham. I'm pretty sure I know who you are. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in, brother. Laura's from Michigan. We've got Willow from the Netherlands. Beautiful. Annie would like that. Netherlands. Well, I mean, yeah, because Sweden, Netherlands. Yeah. Love from Chester Springs, USA. It's funny because we've got a Chester here. So Suzanne, thank you for being here. Surprise. AZ, Arizona. Katie, it's nice to see you here. Naranda, is it Naranda Pritchard? From Plymouth, UK. Nice to see you here. Kimberly from Oregon. Deborah from Columbus, Ohio. It's wonderful to have you guys here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Divine Healing from the Mojave Desert in Arizona. Amazing. Beautiful. Jermaine from South Africa. Love that. Belinda from Right, here we go. I'm going to try and pronounce this one. Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan. Pretty sure Did I get that? Did I nail that? I'm pretty sure I nailed that. From Canada. Thank you for tuning in, Belinda. Great to have you here. Anne from Norway, beautiful. Ohio, amazing guys. Romania, Cosmos, great to have you in. Thank you for tuning in again this weekend. It's very nice to see you here. You nailed it. Great. Thanks, guys. Thank goodness for that. Golden Rainbow, thank you for tuning in again. I notice your name from anywhere. North Island, New Zealand, beautiful. Absolutely amazing, guys. Francis, Niagara Falls. I've been to Niagara Falls. It's a really beautiful place. Patrice from Northern California. Um, so here we've got Joy Duvey. James, you're awesome. Thank you for honouring David, but continue being sharing your beautiful heart and spiritual knowledge. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And like I say, guys, I probably was supposed to do this little disclaimer right in the beginning, but I've always been very much a fan of. I like to share things that are close to my heart, and if it resonates with you, that's brilliant, great. I appreciate that very much. If it doesn't, there's no worries. I know that. Again, I think there's a lot of the tricky things that happen with people who share things is that disclaimer's never always shared. It's like I enjoy talking about these things. It's stuff that elates my soul and my being and who I am, and so I like chatting with you guys about it as well. So it's a win-win. Elva says David was a man of light. I agree with you. I really do. And again, we haven't even got started in the presentation yet. This is definitely going to be a part 1 of 2 because there is a little bit more that I wanted to share with you guys as well. Annie upstairs at Lucas. Lucas downstairs. Yeah, if you guys knew, that's funny. Lucas downstairs and Annie's upstairs in our house. Bo from Southern Maine. Canada from Quebec, Wolfie. Amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. By the way, another little disclaimer I probably should have done. Like, there's, I'm all for having a conversation and talking about things and questioning it. But obviously, I know that for a few people who tuned in last week, they might have been timed out. So if there was a little bit of a misunderstanding there, I appreciate it. Just know that the moderators, so all of you, Annie, Lucas, Celeste, Susie, if you are here or not, especially from last week, and the gentleman who DR, who was here before, they did an amazing job of moderating the comments to keep this a nice, relaxed, loving space. So, if there are any misunderstandings, I appreciate it. Just try and keep it all communicating through love. Everybody can be called out, call me out, say what you need, but we can also do it in love, Anyway. So, Fairy says, just catching up from Black Rock, amazing. Amazing. Thank you all for tuning in. Southern Maine, Brizzy says. My husband and I are from Southern Maine. Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you guys for being here. Right, so let's go across. Now, another dream that I had, which was on Friday night. So this is the last of the dreams. But I had this very prominent message in my dreams. And I was shown an oak tree growing from a mound of soil. And they were so adamant that they wanted me to know what this message was that they delivered it 3 times. And when I woke up, it was really as clear as day. It was saying that the acorn has sprouted. Sounds quite interesting. The acorn has sprouted and we're stepping forwards. The path is opened, the acorn has sprouted, it's happening, there is stuff coming forward. So it's really, really, to me, it's magical. With all the synchronicities, these 2 dreams, the fact that the dream was nature, and then we also had the flags and the flagpoles, it was just really, really incredible. But 3 times, whoever it was, my heart, whatever, guides, higher self, me, James, whatever. It was 3 times. They were adamant. The acorn has sprouted. The sapling is growing. It's on its way. So I just thought it was really beautiful. Okay, guys, so now I'd like to do two little sections. So we've got about 10 minutes before our next meditation. So I'd like to go through two sections of understanding what the Hopi Whirling Rainbow Prophecy is. Now, the book that I showed you, Swish. If anyone wasn't paying attention, you probably are with that sun sound now. The book that I was showing you, this one here, is my Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. Now, again, however you feel about cards, there's a lot of Native American wisdom in here, which I adore. So the Rainbow Peace Prophecy is in these cards. Now, Jamie Sams, rest in peace, because she passed away quite a few years ago, mentioned about the Whirling Rainbow Peace Prophecy. So we're going back over. If you guys really don't like that, I'll definitely change that next week. Or I might be able to mute it. I don't actually know. But anyway, keeps us all awake, doesn't it? So, the Rainbow Race. So this is from the from Jamie's explanation of the Whirling Rainbow Peace Prophecy. The Rainbow Race brings peace through the understanding that all races are one. The unity of all colours, all creeds, working together for the good of the whole. It is the idea that is embodied in the whirling rainbow. When all pathways to wholeness are respected by all cultures, the prophecy of the whirling rainbow will be completed. When the time of the white buffalo approaches, the third generation of the White Eyes children will grow their hair and speak of love as the healer of the children on earth. Bless you guys. Suzanne says, I love the swirling traditions you use. Don't change, James. You will. Bless you. I appreciate that. Laurie says, yes, the Rainbow Warriors, we are here. Bradine says, Prince Royal, thank you, my friend. Apologies, Bradine, I might not know which comment that's referring to. Oh, I see. You're replying to that comment. I may have missed the comment above. Oh, here we are. Bradine says, I came here for you, James. While I came because of David, I'm excited to know now you. Please be you and don't think we expect David, even though we all may have him in common. Well, I appreciate that very much, and that's very kind of you to say. And I hope, let me just come back. Ready, guys? I hope that me being able to hold this space is worthy and good enough of you guys. Now, you might feel that saying that's a little bit much, but I say that because humility is something that I seek to practice as much as possible for the exact reason that some of these words in our presentation are highlighted, like R1, the whole, wholeness, love as the healer of the children on earth. We are a part of a bigger whole. We are a part of an ecosystem, both in nature and in people, within people. So I like to be as humble as is humanly possible from my James Malins ego. So you're all very thoughtful with your words. I appreciate it very, very much, as usual. Angel says the seeds you have planted are growing. Yeah, then yes. And like I say, guys, I just always want to bring it back that the seeds we are planting. I know that the passions and desires that are in my heart, Lucas's heart, Annie's heart, Michael's heart, our other friend who may or may not watch this. I know those seeds are in your heart. A lot of people don't believe in peace on earth. They think it's nonsense. They think they have their beliefs, their ideas, their opinions. But as I said in a podcast episode I did recently, I have no problem dying and having on my tombstone that I died as a delusional fool. If pursuing the idea of peace, abundance, love, and heaven and joy on earth is foolish and delusional, carve it into my tombstone. I really couldn't care less. Because I will follow this path for as long as I breathe. And I know that the people who walk with me will, we've been on this path a very long time. I'll share a little bit of that today. So, and I know that same passion lies within you as well. So we're planting the seeds, and something's happening at the minute. Something's happening. 3 weeks ago, I was gearing up to start having this conversation again. And here we are, with 216 beautiful souls having a conversation about the future of Earth. What can be so terrible about that, eh? So, Soul Coach Suzanne says, yes, it's the seeds we are planting together, and we plant with David and others for 25 years a minute. Absolutely, totally agree with you. Um, Without a doubt. Linda says, we have oak tree saplings to plant along the way of our trip. Maybe we can plant one when we are together in June. Absolutely. It's funny because Linda, welcome. Sorry. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, that would be incredible because we have an oak tree. I don't have a picture of it today, but it's a sapling my mother bought me and it's doing wonderfully at the minute. It's doing really well. Willow the Wispy says, if you imagine love, then you create it. And they have split imagination into I-magination. And I love that because I resonate with that very much myself. Zoichka says, I planted an oak tree with my grandfather when I was younger. They are beautiful trees. Amazing. I love that. That's really beautiful. Okay, guys. So let's keep going. These white-eyed children will be a sign that the ancestors are returning in white bodies, but they are red on the inside. Now, look, you'll have to appreciate this is what came through, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what, creeds or skins or colours it's talking about. It is purely talking about the philosophy of oneness. You'll notice on the third paragraph here, the unity of all colours, all creeds working together for the good of the whole. And this is why, again, interesting, when we think of the colours of the chakras, we think of the colours of the rainbow, there's this interwoven connection here. She would tell me, so this is Jamie speaking here, she would tell me about the return of the buffalo to Turtle Island and how the herds would once again be numerous. After the time when the buffalo returned, the generation following the flower children would see the dawning of the fifth world of peace. Grandmother Cece called the beginnings of this fifth world the wobbly pony that on being born would try to use his legs. She said that the wobble would be felt by the Earth Mother and the changes would occur in the soil and the waters. Inside the children of the earth, the wobble would create rolling emotions and feelings that would bring the quickening and the remembering. Colourful dreams would be brought into the sleep time and dream time dreams of these newborn warriors of the rainbow, and they would begin to learn how to walk in balance. The changes in our Earth Mother would create fear in her children, which would later lead to the understanding and unity of our planet. One people. I believe that should be one planet, one people. Okay? So, just on that note, so very, very interesting here. So there are 3 points I want to bring up. First of all, we have here, she said that the wobble would be felt by the Earth Mother and the changes would occur in the soil and the waters. And this now might be a catastrophe prophecy here. I don't believe so, and I know David didn't either, and I fully resonated with that belief. I don't believe that there is a catastrophic event that's going to happen. I feel like we've passed that. I know that some of the books that we appreciate as well speak of that we've, because of the hands in the soil of Earth, especially with the Dakhiniks in Russia, and a lot of the people around the world who have got back to gardening, got back to planting seeds in the ground, got back to loving our earth, that we've avoided that event. Now, as I say this, how can I say this? How can I know? I have no idea. I have no idea. I have zero authority, no idea. I want to always keep things as grounded as humanly possible. As you'll notice, this prophecy is, as to a lot of people, would be considered the most ungrounded of ideas. Rainbow children, flower children, it sounds all very exotic. But the point is that the Native American philosophies had a very beautiful, earth-centric, nature-centric philosophy, which included all of this. If we want to ground it a little bit further, just imagine the children in the future generations to come with flowers of flower crowns, playing in nature, being connected to the world that we can create. We all have the means to be able to create what you could say heaven on earth, the restored earth, the global garden, whichever fits, whatever feels grounded, whatever feels rooted. Yeah, let's call it the global garden. It's something that I feel very, very passionate and excited about. That this global garden
that we're all talking about nurtures everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if you're considered doesn't matter if you are behaving in the most heinous and uh, aggressive and angry of ways. If you're doing the worst kind of things on the planet, you're enveloped in that love. You are enveloped in that love by osmosis, because the trees. So I apologise, the comment's gone up a little bit, but the lady or gentleman who mentioned about planting the oak trees, which I thought was beautiful, which was a really beautiful point. Those oak trees, which will give home to certain caterpillars and certain birds and certain species, well, those birds, if we're talking about people being given 2.5 acres, those birds might fly across oceans to different continents. So the birds that we enjoy in our gardens and on our doorsteps will also be enjoyed by people halfway around the planet, a quarter of the way around the planet. So unity, connection, it will happen by osmosis. And I believe, call me a delusional fool, if anybody's ever unfortunate enough to come to my my goodbye ceremony, then know that you can carve that on my stone, or on my tree, in my plaque. Sorry, not my stone. Underneath the when I'm underneath the tree that's planted, you can stick a little sign up. Well, he did say he was a delusional fool. No problem with that, because for me, this conversation is vitally important. I know it is for my loved ones as well, and I have no problem talking about it. So anyway. Bright Butterfly Wing says we will be creating a new civilization, which is the name of book 9 in the Ring of Cedars series. Absolutely, and you're right on the money. Those are a set of books that we appreciate very much. Now, again, we very much believe that, yeah, those events happened. I still like to, Lucas and I have had many conversations about this, I still like to edge on the side of caution and say that even if the events of those books, I can't go over and grab it today because it's too far away. Even if the events, this is from me, even if the events of those books are nonsense, which I don't believe they are, Vladimir must be then the most outstanding author on planet Earth, because a lot of the parables... The echo is because you have one of your windows on your computer open with this... I don't know why that would be the case. It's not even coming through here at the minute, so... Desktop audio. Oh my goodness. It's just stopped, hasn't it? It's not. It's just stopped. Has the desktop audio just stopped? It has. The echo's just stopped, hasn't it? Sorry, guys. Yeah, I realise now that it's very obviously says desktop audio and it was on. And just because the bar wasn't bouncing, I didn't think that it... Yeah, sorry guys, you were absolutely right. Okay, well, it's fixed now, I think. Finally. For the 4th time? Wait, so let me just... I'll check on the full monitor. It's probably that then. That's my fault. Anyway. Even if the events of those books are nonsense, the wisdom and the obviousness and the logic of what is shared in those books is, to me, hands down beautiful. Because there are a lot of parables, especially in the later books, that brought me to tears, just because of how obvious and beautiful they are, So, anyway, train of thought has moved on from there, so we'll keep going. Bradeen says we are all united. It looks divided, but it's a process of evolutionary process. Excuse me. The left-hand path yet comes together with the right, of course. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Might have missed a few comments. Deborah says that's the old timeline. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Soul Coach Suzanne says the rainbow body is real. This is David's teaching and he wants you to continue it. Yeah, of course, yeah. We will be creating a new civilization, which... Oh, yep, sorry, read that comment. Keep going, guys. It's fixed. Could be the 2 earbuds, yeah. This is coming from my my actual... I've just got a little soft music playing just to keep me in the flow. So this is this. I'm hoping it's not that. Shouldn't be. There's no me coming through here anyway. Free Queen says, Rotterdam's sister, my condolences to you. I had a dream about David too. The first night since I heard of that narrative they want us to believe. Amazing. Oh, apologies, I may have missed the comment above. Okay, guys. Perfect. Well, let's keep going then. Right, guys. Well, Yelena, thank you. Actually, you've just reminded me. We're an hour and 15 minutes in, so if you guys are ready, we will do our second meditation of this evening. So I would like to invite you all to take a moment, close your eyes. We will slow ourselves right down because we're in quite a nice flow of conversation. But it's important to slow down, bring ourselves present and centered. So I'd like to invite you to take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Allow yourself to become present. And so, as usual, I'll say a few words and then give you a moment of silence so that you can be with yourself. I want to share my gratitude for this wonderful conversation about the whirling rainbow prophecy of peace. The idea that all people on earth, or as many people as possible, can come together in one idea of cooperation, love, and service to Mother Earth and her people. As we progress along this journey of Earth, we recognize that how things are might not be the most efficient. And so we send our love out to all people of Earth. Everybody. The leaders of our planet, the families, both private and public, those people who might not be fully aware of what they do and what they say and how they carry themselves. We send our love to those who feel lost, to those who feel pain and suffering. We gather together to visualize this beautiful global garden where wildlife is restored, our own personal connection is restored to our lands and its people, so we may enjoy abundance, peace, love, creativity, and everything that so many of us are excited for. May all those of dark intent have a change of heart, and may all those who are seeking to do good, kind, loving, powerful things in our world be given all the strength and all the means to accomplish their tasks. Danaho, Wio, it is said, it is good. Namaste and Amen. I'll now give you a moment just for your own words. Okay, guys. When you're ready, bring yourself back. Thank you so much for taking part in that meditation with us together. Thank you so much for all 215 of you for really staying around and being present. You know, this meditation we've done, as much as this meditation we just did, has a very real and palpable effect on our world. You know, we're doing, no matter where we are, whether we think we can plant a garden now or not, or we can come together. If you're, you know, we've got people from all over the world right now, but we're here now, in this moment. That's one of the benefits of technology. I know how a lot of us will feel about technology, but we're here, you know, and we've just, that intention of all, I mean, everybody who's watching this right now is a miraculous human being. The fact that your body is working autonomously, the fact that you can think, you can breathe, you can see, you can be present, it's a true, authentic miracle. And so, with all 215 people, all 215 miracles, okay, all coming together to be able to hold that space for Earth, really is powerful. Diana says, "Can we do a meditation or prayer?" Of course we can. We will. So we at the beginning I wanted us to go to one of David's, the beginning of David's global peace meditation, and we'll finish at the end, and we'll do the same. So we'll close off with David as we did last weekend, if you guys are okay with that. So yeah. Crystal Waters says, in response to Free Queen. As far as I know, there is no timetable on grief. I am grateful we can have all this space as well. Absolutely, I agree with you. Kiki says, has anyone ever gone in person as an independent journalist to this area? I wish we could know more, and I feel sad to know we can't know what's going on. Apologies, guys. I might have missed a comment in response to that. Healing Groom says, David came as a butterfly the other day, blue, black, and yellow. He was free and happy, and the cloud people were in the shape of a huge white buffalo. Beautiful. I love that. Strongly present in my life. Yes, it was David. I love that. And it's interesting because, as it mentioned it here, we talk about the coming of the white buffalo, although we might have already mentioned that. Right, okay, guys, we'll keep going. So our next meditation will be at roughly, let's just say 1:10. We'll do it at 1:55, is it? I don't have my pen and paper today. Silly. Yeah, so 1:55, something like that. 30, 50. Yeah, okay. Okay. Moving across. Tinfoil Hat Lady, love that name. Thank you for doing this. It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here. Really means a lot to me. Francis says, so important. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Crystal Waters, thank you, James, for your very kind, gentle nature, and for taking the time to do this for others. It is my absolute pleasure. Thank you for your lovely words and for spending this time with us. Diana says, James said his cards are Sacred Path. I think yes. So if there is somebody asking, sorry guys, you're getting the swish again. These books, Sacred Path cards. So if you type in Jamie Sams, S-A-M-S, Jamie, S-A-M-S, you will find these. And they are the most gentle, soft, and loving collection of knowledge and wisdom from the Native American principles. It really is beautiful. I've had them for 12 years, so very, very long time. Right, back we go. Yes, so up here, after the time when the buffalo returned, the generation following the flower children would see the dawning of the fifth world of peace. The sundog is a full rainbow circle around the sun that has bright white lights at the four directions. So one of the elements of this is that the sundogs would be seen across the earth. Now, ironically, I know how David felt about this. I know how I feel about a lot of this. If you look at the skies nowadays, you will notice a change from when we were perhaps a bit younger. They have admitted certain things in the news media outlets, Daily Mail, etc. So you guys can go and check that out for yourself. I won't mention it fully. But you'll notice that sometimes when you look at the sun, you'll be able to see these sundogs. And this is again speaking about connecting. Sorry, this is showing this very interesting time that they said this would come to pass. This I love. Truth will shatter the bonds of separation, and goodness will prevail. Everyone will have to trust their personal vision and follow their hearts in order to assist the whole. Each person will be able to use their gifts with joy and share equally in the bounty created by all those working together. The other teachings of the prophecy of the whirling rainbow will be released at a later time when more have awakened to the potential they carry. In our Seneca tradition, so this is spoken by Jamie again, just to let you know, Grandmother Twyla has taught us many uses for the whirling rainbow of peace. When we are having difficulty, I love this, when we are having difficulty in any situation, we visualize the rainbow of peace encircling the situation, the people involved, and the disharmony. So we mentioned a moment ago, and the views at the minute are 1,101, and the average view duration is 1511. 1511. Isn't that beautiful? So, a few things that I loved there is just about understanding that even if it's a concept, visualization, whatever, there is a set of principles around this. You know, that peace, that love, that forgiveness that we can all embody. Because this earth that is coming, this earth that we are healing, that we're on right now, feet on the ground, we're on right now, this earth that we are seeking to help restore, there are a lot of people on this planet that are angry. Okay? They're angry. They are angry. They're fed up of being preached to. They are fed up of being deceived. They are fed up of feeling like there's always a hidden motive, and they're just exhausted, you know? So as we proceed on this path that we're all on, if I may say so you guys will have to correct me, but as we proceed on this path that we're walking, we will have to acknowledge that there are angry people, and so we have a choice to make. Do we fight these people with spears and swords? Do we get angry and aggressive, and do we chastise these people for doing and saying what they do, or do we approach it with love? You know, I have endeavoured to the best of my human ability over the past 2 weeks to respond to every aggressive, nasty and vindictive comment with love. You know, there was one gentleman who was just outright, I mean, he just went to the top of the aggression level. He didn't waste any time at all. He went straight there. I messaged back to him and I just said, look, I can see that you are an advocate of truth and you don't like the idea of people manipulating and taking advantage of other people. I said, I'm right there with you. And I said something along the lines of, I like your hat. I thought you think, because he had a really cool cowboy hat on. So I said, I like your hat, you know, and he was a musician. And I said, oh yeah, I'm into music, you're into. So I just sought to, he might still think I'm a complete idiot and that's fine. But I sought to diffuse a conversation because it's so easy to move into war with people out there in the world. But the truth is that two things. First of all, hurt people hurt people. Yeah, I think, I don't know if you guys will agree with that statement. I think it's quite appropriate. I think it's quite accurate. Hurt people hurt people. And secondly, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. Yeah? So Lucas and I, specifically, and Annie, but Lucas and I, because we're very passionate about forest gardening, we find that when we're talking about forest gardening, a lot of people just don't get it. They don't understand it, and that's okay. Because as much as forest gardening is eons, yeah, 14.5 billion years old, or whatever you believe about the planet, 14.5 is 14.5 billion years old, whatever. It's very old, yeah. As long as there have been trees, there have been forest gardens. So I might be exposing my horrendous lack of ancient geological and ecological knowledge, but what I do know is that for as long as there have been forests, forest gardening has been a premise. So all we're doing is understanding the ancient way of living. Okay? And this is why loads of cultures, which I apologise, I didn't get a chance to add it in today, so we'll probably do it next weekend. But a lot of cultures, a lot of religions, a lot of ancient ideologies speak of a garden. Okay, now David would have been able to reel off the 12 that I read the other day. I'm not that good. So I will do my research on those and seek to present them next weekend. But a lot of ancient cultures speak of a garden. You have it in Christianity, the Garden of Eden, the most obvious one, right? There are many cultures which speak of the garden. So as we go through this presentation and we get to our premise of axioms, which is self-evident truths, we have one blaringly obvious truth that not only is as old as time, but all of our ancestors and ancient cultures would talk about it. The garden. Okay? So we're just saying that it includes a forest, because if you notice a forest, I'm not going to go too far here, because we've got slides for this. A forest is self-regenerating, cyclical, looks after itself, works predominantly for itself in time. So if we're thinking of the most incredible unconditional offering from the Creator, all that is, God, universe, Great Spirit, evolution, what's the most grounded way we could call it? Intelligence, whatever, the most grounded word you can use, the most far out there and grounded, whatever word resonates. What could be the best gift to humanity other than a system which has the most impeccable intelligence that works day and night through morning and evening to serve and be present for humanity? Now, when I say serve, don't get this wrong. I'm not saying that we can just walk all over nature and it's just our slave or our submissive tool. No. And that's why we have this whirling rainbow prophecy. We're talking about a system where we interweave ourselves in harmony with this beautiful gift that's given to us from wherever. Yeah, wherever. I'm not trying to impose my ideas of life onto you, but wherever it originates from, it's here for us. And that's what we're talking about at the minute. So, anyway, I don't want to talk too much, guys. Get some comments here. Soul Coach Suzanne says we live in God's garden. Beautiful. Yeah, I agree. Yes, James, we need to handle these situations with as much compassion as possible. Suzanne, again, I appreciate that. We do. You know, it's time for a change now. You know, I've had a lack of hope for humanity. I don't mind telling you that. You know, I've struggled. I used to. Oh no, I'm not going to share that actually because that's quite private for me. But an old profession of mine. Maybe I'll share it very loosely. An old profession of mine. I was around very challenging people, you know, and so I've been around those people, and it's difficult times. But what you start to learn is the vast majority of people on Earth are devoid of love. They don't know love. They haven't experienced love. They've never been shown love. Probably the same as what I've just said. And so my responsibility, your responsibility, I don't want to speak for you. I'll say I want to include you in this, but I'll speak for myself. My responsibility is to seek to learn how to show those people love. Yeah, and it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. We're human. You know, a lot of us are still trying to survive in the world, you know. It's not easy, but we do our best, and that is enough. Okay? Free Queen says, can't agree, 100% in my opinion. Hurt people who haven't been hurt enough hurt people. Hurt people who haven't been hurt enough hurt people. Okay, interesting. Interesting take. I'm not going against that at all. I hear what you're saying. Francis says you were spreading high vibrations. I appreciate that. I certainly hope so. Reverend Grizzly says, I was an angry dude, but I choose love and my heart is transforming. Beautiful. And you are admired deeply for that, my friend. You know, because, look, in our world, anger is a tremendous defense mechanism. Okay? It's a tremendous defense mechanism. It can help to prevent, it can seek to help prevent further pain. But I've always found it has a ceiling. You know, it has a limit. And eventually, you hit that limit. Just checking the time here. Okay, plenty of time. Urisan, excuse me, I hope I've got that right. Ancient Future Now. Yeah, it's hilarious, isn't it? In fact, I love that. I love that. I like what you did there. Ancient Future Now. Absolutely. You know, again, that whirling rainbow, all encompassing, whole, complete, right? It's the past, it's the future, it's the present, it's all in one, you know, and it's right here for us. Cosmos says this is so interesting. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Kiki says that won't be the case with data centers taking over our land as it is happening so aggressively, and I understand that. I understand that, and I get the feeling of hopeless. 333. Did I miss it? Ah, that's a shame, guys. Well, 2 minutes. I was waffling too much. We missed the 333, but I'm glad some of you picked that up. That was beautiful. Susie, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here very much. I did give you a shout out for your wonderful work last weekend. Very much, very grateful to you. Naranda Pritchard says forests and woods are amazingly healing and beautiful sentient beings. Absolutely. Now I haven't got it on slides, but we'll also notice that the Japan have a medical prescription for forest bathing. So one thing that I have done that I haven't completed yet is a Gaian forest bathing course. And I did take groups of people, about 10 groups altogether, through these beautiful walks and sort of meditations and acts of presence with the forest. And it's miraculous what people feel and the way they feel different and how, you know, the stuff that they come out with. It's really beautiful. So I agree with you. The forest is very healing. How's the love? It would be seen as a... Sorry. Free Queen says, even if these loveless people encounter love, it will be seen as a predator. What we don't know is often feared, the known. All we can do is lead by example and be love. Let God fight our battles for us. Yeah, and of course, and look, like, I agree with you. You're right. You know, and that's the point, is that I'm not saying you should allow yourself to be walked all over. You know, I'm not saying that at all. You know, I like to think I've always said I'm very much an enigma. You know, I might look with all these tattoos in a certain way, but I'm also the softest person in the world on the inside. It's really hilarious. But I'm not saying that you should be allowed to be walked all over. But there's that beautiful balance of life. And I think that as long as we're following our hearts and we're following what we feel, that what happens happens and is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen. You know, and simple as that. So, Tara says lots of 333 lately. Yeah, I don't know if you tuned in at the beginning of this live, but you'll notice I had eight to nine really tremendous 333 synchronicities, like really far out there. Uh, Angela de Petrus Philippe says, yes, it is tough when all they want to do is argue with you. I get that, you know, and at that point I live by the 5% rule. You know, if that's the way that a person wants to be, then at that point it's like, let it go, you know, let it go and let them, you know, if that's how they want to be, then sometimes we have to walk away. Okay. Yes, so Freakin says, yes, compassion without boundaries and discernment is naivety. Trust me. Yeah, of course. I agree with you. And I think a lot of people will know the same, you know. Concepcion Benson says, totally agree, James. Appreciate that very much. Bradine says, focus within. Do not worry about what you see. Yeah, lovely. All right, then, guys. Well, we'll keep going with our presentation. And then this is still from Jamie. Then we twinkle our eyes with joy, sending our inner peace to the situation. Isn't that funny? Carrying on. In using this technique and following it with the ceremony, we place our intention inside the whirling rainbow of peace. So that was just the last little bit of our whirling rainbow explanation, or this first bit. I would like to do it a second time. So I am going to get up my little stream helper here. Where's it gone? Maybe I don't have it. Hold on. It was supposed to be there. Whoopsie. Sorry guys, thank you for your patience. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, there we go. No. It's gone. Oh well. Okay. Let's go back here. Right, perfect. So, the question I asked myself was, why was this David's last live stream, The Pathway to Peace? Now, I know how people feel about the thumbnail, but it was this title that was really particular for me. The Pathway to Peace. So, we've explained the synchronicities. We've talked about this whirling rainbow prophecy, which really came forward to me from what we were discussing in our last live stream. And then I wanted to go a little bit here into a bit about who I am, because obviously you guys have, you're very kind to spend this time, and we're doing our global meditations and having a lovely conversation. But I wanted to share a little bit about who I am. So, the questions that arise are, who am I? Where did I come from? Is it appropriate for me to hold these spaces of global peace meditations? And what do I believe? Is he aware of the responsibility that comes from holding space for 450 plus individuals from last week? 200? And for talking about peace on earth? But of course, I'm not alone. So one thing I wanted to show you here is my poncho. Now, this poncho that I have, which I also noticed, is completely ridiculous. Not ridiculous, but it's beautiful. But it's ridiculous in the synchronicity. Just look here. So it has multicolours here, and I also noticed it has the symbol of light. So from our last live stream, where we were talking about light, we were talking about the multiple colours of light. When I'm not going to embarrass myself by not remembering the word of fractalated light. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible, but I'll remember for next week. So when light is split into all of its components, all of its colours, you get the rainbow. So again, just this interesting whirling rainbow prophecy. I hadn't really fully dived in and connected into it the whole way. And then my dear friend Lucas, who's downstairs. That's his location on planet Earth. He and I brought forward, so Lucas and I, thank you very much, Mark Zia. I appreciate that very much. It's a beautiful refracted light. Thank you. Inner strength hypnosis. Thank you. Refracted light. Yes, absolutely. So when light refracts, it splits into all of its colours. So anyway, that was really curious. So Lucas and I came together about 6 or so years ago. And we're very passionate about the Arthurian tradition. So I feel very connected to the Native American. I know Lucas is as well, and also the Arthurian tradition. So there is a book, and I don't have it available, or do I? No, it's not here. There is a book called The Light in Britain. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have come across this book, but The Light in Britain was created by a lady called Grace Cook, her partner Ivan. She's passed now, I believe. And so from the light in Britain, we came forward with something called the Light of Albion. Now, light being the prominent word, especially from the last live stream, we're talking about light, we're talking about the nature of our reality. The Light in Britain is a very beautiful book about certain elements of Britain, the United Kingdom, which will go across the entire world, but there's a beauty in this landscape. And now, one interesting thing is Grace Cook's guide is known as White Eagle. White Eagle is a Native American connection. So we've got this web, okay, all these synchronicities. So as we're going through this live today, guys, we're just exploring these synchronicities, these things that are coming forward. So we've got this web, okay, that's happening. So in about 5 or so minutes, we will do our third meditation. So I look forward to that with you guys. I'll have a look at some comments here. Asana Hunter says, I have witnessed miracles through love. Quick example, I worked in a prison, and with those on death row, one gentleman was so angry and mean, by the time our time was up, he was... Ooh, I would love to read the rest of your comment, but I don't know whether it cut off. But I hear you. You could probably put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, I totally hear you. Just putting some water out, guys. Dolores, thank you for being here. Blessings to you as well. Water's View says powerful symbols. Absolutely. Oh, here we are. he was love himself. Absolutely. And this is it. You see, I watched a video the other day of a gentleman who had kind of been reformed through the, he had found, religion, Christianity, God, all that is, universe, whatever word fits. He had found that and was seeking a better, kinder, more loving path, and fair enough. That's it. So, Free Queen says, if I go by Carl Jung's insights of individuation, our estrangement is a part of our graduation. I think that my greatest adversaries are best friends playing the role for the lesson. And that's, it's not a terrible thing to, not a terrible way to think. If we are able to observe that the things that are happening to us are helping us to move to a place of wisdom, of empowerment, and of strength, it can help to reframe things. Now, I'm not suggesting that, things aren't terrible and difficult, and that, I'm not trying to tell anybody here what they should, think and feel. But that's how I've tried to do things in my life. If I've ever come up against great adversity, I know that it's at least giving me something, and if I listen to that, it often resolves itself very quickly. Just gonna have a quick drink here. Well, Dolores, if you come back later on, thank you for tuning in. It's very, very kind for you to be here. Yeah, Mark Zia says David's last one as President Trump as Jesus. Yeah, I mean, look, I know that it seemed very silly, and I don't know what is going on in the world with that. I don't have opinions of that, and I'm not going to share them here. But all we can know is that for ourselves, in these conversations, and for all of us connected, it's we're doing our best to understand this path that we're on. Carolina says, we let things that no longer serve us or help us on our pathway fall by the wayside. Of course, and that's that way of finding peace. I completely agree. Alexander Cameron, thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. It's wonderful to have you here. Alexander says, hi everyone, I'm from Scotland. Pleasure to meet you. I know someone who has done a lot of research on the spine of Albion in Edinburgh and the real Jerusalem. Now that's interesting because there is a chap who I know, and the book is over there, so I won't know. Who is it that you're talking about? Because I might actually have that person's book, which is interesting. I know another gentleman, Liam Gardner, recently walked the spine of Albion as well. So that's curious. But okay, guys, we'll carry on. Tree Dog, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, and I agree, Lucas. Yeah, absolutely, Alexander. So if you connect with us afterwards, it would be amazing to connect with you. Stephen J. Beatty, it might be him. Is it The New Jerusalem? Is that the book? If not, let me know. But right, okay, guys. So Lucas and I gave birth to the Light of Albion. Now, the Light of Albion has 7 disciplines. Isn't that funny? This was before all of this idea of the colours. We came up with 7 disciplines, which is 10 to the mind, 10 to the body, to the heart, 10 to the hearth, which is the family and the home, 10 to the land, speaks for itself, the pursuit of passion and purpose, and 10 to others. So the idea is that this philosophy, okay, this Light of Albion, this philosophy, it's not a hierarchy, it's not talking, it's just a set of ideas which people may explore in their own way, which allows them to focus in on those daily tasks, those daily ideas, which allow us to remain in balance and harmony. Okay? It also has 7 virtues: presence, peacefulness, fortitude, temperance, kindness, authenticity, and humility. Now, a lot of you have been very lovely with what you've said, your comments, and I hope that you'll know that these are the virtues that Lucas and I certainly try to practice on a daily basis. These are the kind of virtues, the kind of ideas that allow a person to come into a stoic harmony. Okay? Now, life is life, and sometimes it can be difficult and challenging. By practicing these, we can help to come forward. So again, it's just this idea. So we've got the Light of Albion that we gave birth to. And we, ironically, this is what we're currently doing. So we're currently seeking to create 7 pages or 7 steps to heal the earth. So the idea is bringing forward 2.5-acre forest gardens, the 7 transitional stages, so from the individual to the country, the bridge between, so the transition, which is very similar, so how we get from where we are on Earth now to the Earth that we're all excited to see, the scales and the models, the benefits, the vision and the global problem. So it's important for me to share that this is very rough. I wanted to share this with you today, and we'll probably go through this in another live stream in the next coming weekends. But this is something that we are really excited to share. You know, this idea that there is a path. We're talking about peace on earth, and there is a pathway to get there. Okay? We just have to look at the axiomatic truths of the world so that we can use them. And another thing that I find very interesting is another set of cards I have is all about the Arthurian tradition. And here we have the flowering of Logress, and notice that it's surrounded by a rainbow. Okay, and it talks about perfection, restoration, culmination, triumph, attainment, rapture, healing and benefit, a new era, and a sense of unity. So 2 things very close to my heart, each talking about this idea of wholeness and unity and oneness. So the question is, what is being restored here? And in a few minutes we'll do our 3rd meditation. So I ask myself the question, what's being restored? And so do the people around me. And it's the people and the land and wildlife. So one thing that we like is to keep things simple and basic. And that's that there's 2 things that are being restored on our planet. And that's the people and everything to do with the people. The individual, the nature of the nations and the creeds and the races, and also the land and the wildlife. Okay, this is what we're restoring the goodness, the love, the decency, the kindness, the compassion. And as you guys profoundly said, Suzanne says your voice is echoing when you speak. I apologize. When I go back over, I will mute the other the computer audio. Thank you for reminding me, Suzanne. Thank you very much. So we are talking about a set of ideas which are open to everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You don't need to follow us or walk with us on this path. You can take this and do it yourself. But the idea, like the Arthurian tradition, we have the round table, okay, with the whirling rainbow prophecy and the flowering of Logress. We have this all-encompassing unity, this coming together. So this is why it's beautiful that we're all doing this now, coming together, because this is what it requires. It requires the people coming together, right? Because that's what I feel right now, is that the people are the medium, you know. So whatever the how is, no idea, but it's coming. So let's have a look here. So Free Queen says, love Dolores Cannon. Yeah, I've certainly watched. She lovely lady. I've watched a lot of what she did. Bradine says, oh, Dolores Cannon said that we came to learn and that truly we are all friends. It's just here to play different parts. Absolutely, you know, with it, absolutely. Diana says, David said while it looked like a schism between the Alliance and Trump, but in the end he said he didn't think so. Yeah, I know. And, you know, Bevy says, I like your mug. Cheers. Well, this mug, or my mug, or my face. Well, this is a cool mug as well. You know, whatever is going on with the leaders and the countries of our world, who can know? You know, there's, again, that's that impossibility. You know, how can we know? How can we know for sure? So I like to try to bring it down to the place of, well, what can we know? You know, like, for example, the people, nature, wildlife. So we'll get to those truths very shortly. Cosmos United says, I have the blue light like David's for lots of years. I always thought we're brothers in light. Beautiful. Love that. Diana says, Holy Spirit takes care of the how. Yeah, absolutely. Jermaine says, love the 7 steps to heal the earth. We each have our own steps which can contribute towards earth healing. Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it. You know, it's just for those who might not have ever thought about it, we're really excited to bring that conversation forward. Patricia says you are doing a great job of keeping everything cohesive and flowing. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. That's very empowering. Thank you. And Asana says, so exciting to see your heart through this program you're creating. Yeah, beautiful. And look, like that's especially the Light of Albion. It's something that we're going through life. There's nothing brought forward yet. Those are just things that we especially brought forward for ourselves. If Lucas and I, if the people around us, if we've got ourselves right, then we can be of better service to people out there in the world. So 15505 has just passed at 55 minutes past 8, which is lovely. So if you guys are ready, we will do our third meditation. So what we'll do is just close your eyes. And as I say, we're having quite a conversation. So let's just bring ourselves nice and centered again for the third global peace meditation. So I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. So I'll say a few words and then give you a moment to yourself as well. So I would just like to call forth to Great Spirit, all that is, universe, God, great mystery, whichever feels right for you, all nature, intelligence, Mother Earth. I just want to give thanks to the ideas of unity that are very much present in nature. The trees, the root systems, the mycelium, the beneficial relationships between insects and animals and birds and flowers and herbs, demonstrating to us quite clearly that there is a book, a guide, a set of lessons and ideas and intelligence that is free. It is all around us. In the leaves, the trees, it's everywhere. Just give our thanks and gratitude for this infinite intelligence, and may we hope that all people on earth have access to this birthright, that all people on earth have the availability and capability to grow their own 2.5 acre forest garden, to live in harmony and peace with nature and the people around them. And to all those with all the apparent power, all the apparent money and finances and means and reasons, may we send them the highest forms of love. For while we are not limited by these individuals, a change of heart would be such a beautiful, refreshing moment on our planet, for these people to reflect and begin to make available to all people who desire and wish a connection with nature, to give up their lands, give up their statuses, their status, so that we may do right by the earth and its people. Danaho Wiho, Namaste for those of you, and Amen for those of you that resonate. I'll give you just a moment now Okay, guys, so when you're ready, bring yourself back. I want to thank you again before I read the comments. I want to thank you again for taking part in these meditations, being present, because as David will have shared and as the HeartMath Institute has sought to prove, there's a very real effect. You know, we dream, we think, we can imagine. There's power in that. You know, there are invisible forces in our world that we trust, the wind, the gravity. You know, we want to fly to a different part of the country, we will get in a plane. You know, there are certain things that are just true. And so there are invisible truths, our thoughts, our imagination, our intention, the feeling of our heart. We might not be able to grab it and mould it with our hands, but it's there. So you're all doing a beautiful job by being here. You're all doing a fantastic offering to our world. So let's have a look here. Suzanne O'Shaughnessy? Is it Shaughnessy? James, you're a beautiful, kind man with passion to help. Bless you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Suzanne says, it is so refreshing and heartwarming to focus this way with you, James, for those of us that care about the earth and other areas too. Appreciate that very much. Very kind of you. Leilu says, the great cosmic egg cracking open to reveal the new earth. Now that is interesting. Now I have a very far out story that I don't know if I'll share that's involved with this kind of philosophy of the egg. But that's perhaps for another time. Suzanne also says, I also agree. We are blessed to have someone like James to continue forward with, who embodies the divine masculine in such a beautiful way, kind and caring. Thank you. That's appreciate that very much. Very lovely thing to say. Living Light says love. Appreciate that. Living Light says thank you. Thank you as well. I see you, James. Oh, love you, Mum. Love you all around the universe and back. It's definitely different from love you to the moon and back, isn't it? Deborah says another wonderful meditation. Thank you, Deborah. So actually, that was about 1 hour and 55. So we'll do our next 33-minute one at 1 hour and maths, James. 5 off 33 is 28. 1 hour and 28. Perfect. There we go. So we'll do our fourth one. And our fourth one, because it's in the middle of the 7 meditations, I'd like to revisit the prayer and the poem that I did before, which is very Native American-y, which I wrote a couple of months ago. Again, such odd synchronicities. Elva says, time for harmony in the world to manifest. I completely agree with you. Elizabeth Gonzalez says, exponential power in unified prayer or meditation. I agree with you for every person that joins. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for doing so and being here. Even where you are at the time you're doing it is adding to the power and effect of this. So it's really wonderful. Cosmos says, thank you. This is beautiful. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that very much. Wade Woodruff, thank you so much, my friend. 222 on the like button list. Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. You know, I haven't asked anybody to like the live stream, but if you're tuning in and you haven't already, feel free to drop a like. Yeah, you haven't heard me say that in 5 hours of last week's videos and this one. I might as well join the YouTube crew saying it. If you haven't dropped a like yet, if you'd be willing to do so, I'd be deeply appreciative of that. So thank you very much, guys. Crystal says, another shout out to Dolores Cannon. Absolutely, yeah. Lydia also said the same. 222 thumbs up on YouTube. Love it. Joy Duvey. I hope I pronounced that. Joy Duvey. Please keep these global meditations up. This is such important work for ourselves, humanity, and the earth. Ahau Wapila. James. I appreciate that very much, and you'll have to let me know what that means. When I'm talking about a lot of Native American wisdom, there is a lot that I don't know, and I'm really excited to learn more about it. I just haven't found the correct place yet to learn. So I believe Jamie was very connected to the Seneca and the Navajo tradition, so maybe that's a good place to start. But yeah, so appreciate your words very much. Little Red says, thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Bright Butterfly Wings says, great broadcast. Maybe next week or the next, you could read an excerpt from the Ringing Cedars books, maybe book 9. I would like to, and I would like to. There are a few parables in those books, one of them being the trillionaire who gives the land and money to the people, another one being the prison, where the prisoners are given that outdoor space, and when it comes time for them to finish their sentence, they don't want to leave, because the garden they've planted is so beautiful. I mean, just the concept itself is wonderful. Tree Dog says we can totally get it to grow. Appreciate that, my friend, very much. Thank you so much for doing this. It fills the huge void in my life on Sunday afternoons left by David. I appreciate that, Katie. That was really the inspiration. To do this, that was why. My name is French, pronounce joie de vie, meaning joy of life. Beautiful. Joie de vie. I will certainly try to remember that. If I get it wrong, give me a kick up the bum and let me know again. My name is French. Beautiful. Thank you for tuning in from France or wherever you are. Joie de vie. Joy of life. Wonderful. What a beautiful name. Thank you. Soul Coach Suzanne says, please do read from the Ringing Cedars book 9 or anything you feel called to read from those. Yeah, and well, look, this is the point. I know it's curious, really, because a lot of David's passions were celestial. Finding our brothers and sisters from other worlds and seeing them here and finding disclosure. And you'll notice we haven't really talked about that yet. And I do have to admit that my heart is very much in the soil of Earth. Not that I am adverse to our celestial brothers and sisters. I also, in the grand scheme of our world, we're certainly not alone. I don't believe that. But like I say, right here and right now, whilst I haven't met those people in person, maybe in other means, but not in person, what I can do is plant seeds. I can plant seeds, I can grow trees, I can try to create habitat for animals, Not that we have the land to do that yet. I know a lot of you have been really excited about what we're doing, but we're exactly where you might be. Grace Maxwell says, James, thank you for sharing this time with us in memory of David. It's my honour. Absolutely. I'm grateful to be able to do that with you guys. Just realised where I now live is on 2.5 acres now. Isn't that funny, Elizabeth? Excuse me. There's probably definitely a conversation there to have. Alright, guys. So let's keep going. Swish across to our presentation. So the question was, what is being restored? So Light of Albion, what is being restored? And that leads us to what we've just given birth to, which is really stemming from tend to the land, and that's tend to the earth. Okay, so Lucas and I, we've been sat together and we've been discussing the pathway and understanding, and I apologise, I know it's an AI image. It actually was created when we wanted to set up a petition, and I did think it was really appropriate. Lovely pond there, as much as 2.5 acres of land gives you the opportunity to live separate. If you don't like your neighbours, which is completely possible, at least you have 2.5 acres of land, which is paradise on earth. And the way that it works out is everybody could have that. Okay? So we have the global garden restored. This is the premise of Tend to the Earth. So Tend to the Land is, evolved to Tend to the Earth. 2.5 acre edible forest gardens, 200 million families. This is our idea, which starts with the individual. So I know that I'm very guilty. I'm just going to look you guys in the eyes as I say this. I'm very guilty of very big thinking, and so is our friend Michael, and so is Lucas. You might be laughing at this, it's certainly as well, but just as Lucas's wisdom brought forward, it's also important to keep it small. We've got the individual, we've got our families, we've got 2.5 acres. That's all a person need be connected with. I like to think that because it's not the conversation isn't being had at the minute. Okay, we're not having the conversation about restoring planet Earth. It's all little fixes, fixing taxes, fixing education, fixing pensions, and our political ideologies and governments. It's often little things. Sorry if I'm offending anybody. It's often little things, and for now at this point, we got to talk about the big thing, the big solution, and the big solution does require, as we're seeing with the Whirling Rainbow prophecy, guys, yep. Whirling Rainbow prophecy, the flowering of Logres, okay? So the Arthurian tradition, Native American tradition, it's probably in all kinds of traditions, I just haven't researched it yet. The whirling rainbow prophecy, peace on earth, all nations, all creeds and all people coming together. Setting aside their differences, earth is an anagram for heart, absolutely, and you'll notice one of our disciplines is 10 to the hearth, which is also a nice little anagram for the heart of the home. So yeah, I appreciate you noticing that, Bradine. Leilu says, love that, appreciate that very much. And so, just imagine, again, call me a delusional fool, let's go across. Just imagine, 200 million families, which of a family of 5, that's 1 billion people in harmonic unification between nature and people. Oops, you've got that twice. You see, that was so important, you've got it twice. Oh, I forgot to edit that one. That's how important that point is, right? Harmonic unification, or living in harmony, unified. It's not just about the unity of people, it's the unity back with the land. So, okay, well, you've got all of that also in one go. So this is also not fully confirmed with our numbers, but let's just discuss it, okay? So imagine one individual, 5 people on average to a family, with one garden of 2.5 acres, 65 people to a village, or 13 families, 650 people to a farm or a community or a little county or as such, not county, to a community, which is 10 villages on 330 acres, which is a nice little number, then 500,000 people to a county and 50 million people to a country on average, right? So we're playing, equals a world thriving in harmony with the land and Mother Earth. So right here, we're playing, right? We're playing with numbers, we're playing with ideas. The most important thing is we need to prove it. But one thing that we find is because a forest garden, takes on average 7 years, you've got vegetable growing, horticulture, on average you're looking at 7 years to start getting produce. Although the Hopi rainbow prophecy would speak that as the soils and the waters change, maybe there'll be a change in the way the intelligence of nature works. Who knows? Wouldn't that be miraculous? Patty says, so sorry I had to leave for a bit of a baby shower. We'll watch that, what I missed. Happy to be back. Thank you for coming back, Patty. I really appreciate that. I hope the baby shower was lovely. You'll have to let me know. So baby shower is, do you know the gender yet? That's lovely to hear. Soul Coach Suzanne says, David put things in twice too, obviously very important. Do you know what's funny? It's been, I don't actually remember that, so that's really curious that he did that. So there you go. There's another little funny synchronicity happening. And you are not delusional. This is the New Earth plan. Absolutely, of course. I mean, look, I know. When I say about the delusional fool, what I'm doing is I'm appeasing the people who would classify it as that. So I often find that a very easy way to diffuse any possible attack or any possible idea of people saying that it's complete nonsense is by meeting them exactly where their argument is that it's delusional. So if you present yourself and say I'm happy to be that, it takes the wind out of people's sails a little bit. My ego would not be offended by people calling me a delusional fool. Wouldn't be too pleasant, hope not, but Patty, bless you. Bless you, I appreciate that. Yeah, look, guys, hit the like button. I know that's the old YouTube adage, isn't it? Leilu says, so true, the old systems are crumbling. They are, and I don't want that to be a conversation of fear. Okay, it's like how are we going to feel about this? It's like the philosophy of the phoenix. Whatever is in the ashes of what's falling apart is born anew. Okay. Excuse me. I love being delusional, says Andrea. I love that too. Brilliant. Elizabeth says, I agree in your diffusion technique. It's something I've learned over the years. This is God's Garden, James. I am in a group called the Seeds Movement. We meet on WhatsApp together. in team play to create the new Earth very similarly as you see it working. Absolutely, and it is, you see. And this is the beauty, is this whole philosophy of the rainbow prophecy is happening now. Okay? It's happening now. It's happening amongst us. This conversation, this whole idea of the pathway to peace, David's last live, moving into everything we've been talking about. Just that the web of connection is tremendous. Really beautiful. Hope I'm not missing any comments. Free Queen says, speaking of sprouts, I have started growing bean sprouts and a couple of tomato plants in the windowsill of my urban jungles treehouse. That's how I see my city's apartment. Beautiful. I love that. Absolutely love that. And that's also amazing thing, is being able to do what you can with what you've got. There's something really beautiful and really precious in that. So guys, we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. Thank you all for spending this time with me and each other. Really nice of you to be here. Bradine says, question: how many of you have dreamt of that home is something like the Shire of the Lord of the Rings? Well, this is the thing. You see, the beautiful thing about the Lord of the Rings, I don't think I actually need that now. Not yet. The beautiful thing about the Lord of the Rings is it was showing certain ways of living in harmony with nature, right? Hobbit holes. You dig your home into the ground, which a lot of people have done. And there is modern housing does not have the design elements and the architectural elements that you can have in naturally built homes. There are so many things which I need to bring my knowledge upon, but you've got passive solar gain, using the sun to heat the inside components of your house so that heat radiates in the house. There are so many things that we can do. We just need the means to do so, and we have the means on Earth. Patty says, love your accent. David has several characters with accents. It's almost like you were manifested. It's funny, isn't it? I know. I do like, I'll probably end up offending somebody horrifically, but I think I'm alright at some accents. Although I'm certainly going to butcher it if I try. I might do. You might get a little Steve Irwin out of me, because I do love Steve Irwin and the things he used to say. Bless his heart. Patty says, we're here for it. I love it. Me too. Absolutely. Meet you all in the Shire. Yeah, without a doubt. So Suzanne says, I know why you preface things as you do. It's good to diffuse any doubts. Just wanted to make sure there are so many of us that... Absolutely, Suzanne. And that's, a lot of what I'll do. Suzanne, take care. See you later. Thank you for tuning in. I know exactly that I'm very much going to be preaching to the choir. I know you guys are going to be fully on board, but there might be some people who watch this, and I like the idea that certain people who will have been adverse to this might have a change of heart because of the way it's delivered. So it's something I'm very passionate about. So right, okay, guys, let's keep going. Swish. So I like this beautiful image, this idea of, we've got this light coming through nature, the knowledge, the wisdom, the whirling rainbow prophecy, the flowering of Logres, this symbolism of knowledge and light illuminating for the people the obviousness of what's in front of us. That's something that is very exciting to me. It's very obvious. It's right here. And a lot of people don't know, but when they do know, you will have a revolution on Earth. Simple as that. So we have two mediums towards peace. We've got the round table of equality, light of Albion and tend to the land. That's something that Lucas and I are very passionate about. And certainly everybody with us, Annie included. So my question again was, why was this David's last live stream? And so I wanted to say, why the pathway to peace? Why was this the last one? So I find myself asking, why has this all happened now? Is the baton being passed to all of us? So is there a baton that's being passed that we're all having this conversation about peace on Earth, and this was that last conversation, unfortunately, that last conversation through David's life, is there a baton that's being passed? So, like I say, I wanted to share with you here now. Before we will do our next meditation in just a few moments, and we'll go through the little prayer. So I wanted to do a little reading of the book, just in case I missed any. So here we go. Now, if you guys are okay with this, we'll go through the Whirling Rainbow prophecy within this book on a much deeper level. So I'll just quickly show you. Swish across. So I'm going to be reading from the book here. So Jamie Sams. So this is my little book. So when it comes across, we're going to read the whole thing. I want you to be able to read it. Now, these images may be a little bit blurry, so I apologise for that. But I'm, doing the best I can with the equipment that I've got. So, Whirling Rainbow, unity and wholeness achieved. To the Navajo and the Hopi, the swirling or whirling rainbow woman is the bringer of friendly rains that nurture the three sisters, corn, squash, and beans. During the summer, so that the people will be fed. Many times an image of the whirling rainbow is created in sand painting, an ancient sacred healing art performed by the medicine clans of those nations. Ah, thank you. I've just been reminded. Try that. Hopefully that stops the echo. I've missed my... Right. The whirling rainbow woman comes from all four directions and curves like a swastika covering all directions. The outside of the sacred circle is protected by another whirling rainbow woman, bending her body in the space below, creating a cup shape to catch the rain and protect the circle. Without the rain, the three sisters will die and the people will not be fed. The whirling rainbow is the promise of peace among all nations and all people. The rainbow race stresses equality and opposes the idea of a superior race that would control or conquer other races. The rainbow race brings peace through the understanding that all races are one. Here we have the law of one, unity again. The unity of all colours, all creeds, working together for the good of the whole, is the idea that is embodied in the whirling rainbow. When all pathways to wholeness are respected by all cultures, the prophecy of the whirling rainbow will be completed. Now, I wanted to go through this and break it down at the same time. So we're going to go over what we've just talked about. The echo kind of gives it an ethereal ambience, though. I love that, Reverend Grizzly. Well, it's... I mean, I suppose so. Maybe it sounds like I'm coming from a different dimension. So it says here, the whirling rainbow woman comes from all four directions. So again, we have the symbols of light, which have four directional points. Just going on, because I wanted to make sure I covered all this. So from last week, we were showing the photon of light, which has the four directions. We were showing the cymatics, which coincidentally had the four directions. So again, we've got this curious unifying symbology that is in a lot of what David used to talk about. So the law of one talked about light, unity, being a service to others, right? The raw material, the sun being light, secret places of the lion, the sun, the lion being a symbol of the sun, okay? And again, you find this whacking out there, it's just ancient cultures. Ancient cultures speak of this. Why did they speak of it? If you want the modern grounded approach, it's in our history. It's in your history lessons, right? So we also have the this principle of the macabre, because Pharaoh Akhenaten, again, we've got that premise of the light. He was one of the pharaohs who brought forward one of the first religions, which was a religion of the sun, right? There's a religion of the sun. So again, just very curious. Let's go across. We'll do our meditation just shortly. In fact, guys, gonna get that swoosh sound again. I'll change it, maybe I'll quieten it down. Let me just get let's do the meditation now, so that it's a very important part of what we're doing. So we were on, I know where we were on. Okay. Now here is another miraculous little synchronicity for you. Oopsie, why is that not coming up? There we go. So, so we're about to do our next meditation. So get yourself nice and comfortable. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. I returned recently to a lot of my Native American information, and so I wrote this poem, and I have linked it in the description if you would like to have it for yourself. So it is called I Am With You, and I wrote it on Thursday, March 26th. I have changed a few little bits. I ironically made a space in the middle for a 7th paragraph. Again, synchronicity. So if you're ready, Great Spirit, I am with you, I am present, and I am here. I give thanks to the people of plant and stone, to the people who stand where their roots have now grown. I give thanks to those who crawl and who creep, to those with fins who swim in the deep. I give thanks to eagle and those with wings, whose wisdom and truth Father Sky brings. I give thanks to the chiefs of fire and air, of water and Mother Earth, whose healing I bear. Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, you are the light and I am the tune. Medicine walks reveal what you give, the language of love as the reason I live. Whirling rainbow brings a promise of peace, uniting all nations, all peoples and creeds. From our hearts to our roots to our crowns above, may we learn all our lessons and be open to love. I give thanks to the directions on the sacred wheel, whose guidance speaks on the winds that heal. I stand for all that is right and true, so that your loving light may shine on through. The presence of Christ resides in my heart. May I forgive all those who miss their mark, as well as myself when I stumble and fall, and fail to uphold the highest of all. I walk this path in service of others, for nature, children, my sisters and brothers. My mind is quiet and my heart revealed. The earth is restored and your children are healed. That Naho, Wheel, Great Spirit, it is said and it is good. And Namaste and Amen for those of you who appreciate that term. So I'd like to, this meditation was more for ourselves. So I'd like to give you a moment to say the words you like to say and just take a moment for yourself. Okay, guys. So that is our 4th meditation. Our next one we will do at 3 hours and 3 minutes. 3 hours and 3? Maybe a bit sooner. We'll do it at 3 hours. Was that our 4th? We've got 5, 6, and 7 left to do, or was that number 6? Sorry, number 5. Have I miscalculated? Because now we've got an hour left, so that was number... Oh, I've done it out of order. Maybe that's for a reason. Maybe our throat chakras needed needed that prayer, that meditation. So, Asana says beautiful, Cosmos says beautiful, thank you. Elizabeth says beautiful, appreciate that, guys, very much. Deborah, absolutely peaceful and full of truth, James, thank you for sharing with us, it's my absolute honour. You will find in the description, there will be a link for that prayer, that poem, if you like it. Soul Coach Suzanne says, that was a beautiful prayer, James. To Great Spirit, I love getting back to my Native American roots also with you. Yeah, me too. It's definitely lovely. Any other comments here? Travelled over the Don Highway in Alaska towards Yep. I just wanted a garden on my roof. Yeah, and that's the beauty of as people build these homes, you can build them very much in harmony with nature. You can have grass roofs, you can make them out of cob or hemp, which have the best insulation ratings and the R ratings, I believe it is. So, I know for a fact that cob has an R rating of 60, whereas most homes it's like 5 or 6, something like that. Cassie says, I take it no one can see my comments. Apologies, Cassie. Let's have a look. Cassie says, it's always a very happy day for me when I get to put my plants outside in the spring. I can feel their joy and freedom. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Apologies, Cassie. We can certainly appreciate you with us. Leilu says, hobbits and Grogu, my alter egos. I love that. Okay. I believe the Y, what's that? I may have missed a comment somewhere. Anyway, so Suzanne says, oops, I've missed it, I've lost it. Ah, okay. Patty says, wow, all kinds of signs that you are definitely the one to have us on. Oh, bless you. Well, I appreciate that very much. I'm very grateful for you being here. Not Marketing says, thank you all for participating in this most important endeavour. Thank you very much for being here. It's very, very good of you. Great Popcorn says, that was beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. So heartfelt. Joe DeVee? I'm sorry, I've already forgotten how to pronounce it. I apologise very much. Well, thank you very much. I'm pleased you enjoyed it. Arsney says, gotta go to bed, but it's a nice stream, no worries. I hope you sleep well, my friend. And Kev says, thank you for this live and meditation. It's my pleasure. Absolutely. All right, guys, let's keep going. There's a very good chance we won't get through everything today, but that's okay. It's nice to have multiple things to, part one and a part two. So where were we? Okay, so we were here. Present. On monitor. Swoosh across. All right, guys. So we have the whirling rainbow woman. Comes from all four directions. So we have that symbol of light. The most powerful thing that we also have there is that it's referred to the whirling rainbow woman. Now, in the Arthurian tradition, if any of you have been excited to explore that, the King Arthur, Lady of Sovereignty, Merlin, Lancelot, etc., you'll know that the Lady of Sovereignty is a central figure in the Arthurian mysteries or traditions or wisdoms, whichever one you feel right with. So the sovereignty and kingship or queenship, or the right to be king or queen. So we're not talking about monarchy here, but in these traditions, the right to be king or queen was bestowed from the Lady of Sovereignty, or the goddess of the land. Okay, so we have the goddess of the land, which is very, very curious. Okay. Again, that synchronicity with 10 to the land and this idea of the whirling rainbow, the healing of earth. So we have again that symbol of light, and also I just found the Maltese cross, or the Templar cross. I haven't done my full studies on the Templars, so you'll have to forgive me, but I again just find it interesting that there's this running theme. If you impose, this is something David used to share a lot, if you impose this across this image of the photon of light, you see the Maltese cross. It's fascinating. So again here we have the whirling rainbow woman bending her body in the space below, creating a cup shape to catch the rain and protect the circle. And again, this similarity between the Arthurian and the Native American traditions. You have the Grail, you have this cup shape. The Arthurian tradition also holds the Grail at the centre of its traditional wisdom. Percival is asked, whom does the Grail serve? And again, this is a very important question, and one thing that Lucas and I have discussed, and Lucas mentioned as well, is that whom does the Grail serve could very well be referring to whom do you serve. So it's asking me the question, whom do I serve? And so if I am in service to Joie de vie. Joie de vie. Right, Joie de vie, my dear, I am going to write that down right this second in my Whirling Rainbow book. Right, you ready for this? Writing that down right now, because I would be highly offended if I forgot again. So we've got Joie de vie. So there we go, my dear. You've been immortalised in this Whirling Rainbow book. I apologise. You can, guys, you can all be immortalised in this Whirling Rainbow book. There is a lot of us here. I'll try to write everyone's name in. But I don't want to, until that's embedded and seared in my brain, I'm writing this down. So, Joie de Vie says, thank you for sharing this powerful information. It's my pleasure. It excites me. A lot of this is, you know, the path that David led me on. It's then the path I've taken with my friends and my family members. So, it's very interesting. Joie de Vie with sh in the beginning. Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for letting me, correcting me. My parrot bird is laughing out loud with you, James, mimicking you. That's hilarious. I love that, Free Queen. I wish that I could hear that, because that's amazing. Nancy says, Michael Reynolds builds the Earth ships. Interesting, yeah, very, very interesting. We'll probably, if you guys are interested in that, I hope you are, in the coming weekends, we can certainly bring a lot of that information together. Soul Coach Shazan says, the reason why we felt so close to David was that we spent so many hours with him each week for years, and he brought us into his life like no other well-known soul and became family to us. Absolutely, totally agree with you. Leilu says, beautiful James, thank you for sharing that soul song with us. It's my pleasure, absolute pleasure. Gail says, funny, but when you spoke with the pen in your teeth, it almost sounded like David. I had to do a double. That's funny. That's funny, actually, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I know for a fact that the Angry Daddy routine, it probably sounded a lot like that. There's, like I say, that the reason why I originally did those videos with the passion that I had with David is because everything that we're talking about here, a lot of it was stemmed from his explorations, the symbol of light and all of these elements of our world that are very real. So he got those questions flowing. He was exploring those things, and I still believe he's here, somewhere. There's got to be. And the idea of this whole journey that we're all on, it's got to be the case. I appreciate that both very much, and I love that, Suzanne, as well. And the more that we do this, I hope that in time, I don't expect anything straight away. Again, I enjoy spending this time with you guys. This is exciting to me. It was. I have to admit, another thing that's very impressive about David is his ability to put presentations together. Because this took me a long time. This took me a very long time to do. So it's like I say, it's interesting. But yeah. Okay. Leilu says, beautiful James, thank you for sharing that soul song with us. Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Yes, David is here goofing around a bit. Love it, and you're doing wonderfully. Thank you, Patty. Very kind of you. Thank you very much. Elizabeth says, interesting. I didn't follow David, but did agree with his discussions. Yet when he transitioned, I got an immediate download about his death. The spirit brought me to you. Interesting, Elizabeth. That's the, again, this idea of unity. That we come together. It's difficult because it was an unfortunate circumstance that we are all sat here having this conversation. It would be really lovely to be talking, chatting on David's live, but this is what we're exploring. Why is this happening? Why is it happening now? Why is it that 3 weeks ago I was gearing up, getting everything ready to start talking with Lucas about everything that's going on? Why now? So that's really the question we're asking. It's interesting. Right, okay, let's go back across. So we have this, again, you've got this symbolism of light, symbolism of the cup. And so we have two cups mentioned in two traditions, both of which speak directly to a custodianship of the land and its people, right? The blue rose in Arthurian tradition is indicative of the health of the land. Just going to grab a drink here, guys. By the way, I hope you. Oh, yeah. So the blue rose is indicative of the health of the land, and when the land is not looked after, or the blue rose, which you could argue is the divine feminine, or that feminine aspect of the self, or the love, the kindness, the compassion, the goodness, the decency, which is very much that feminine element, that the land suffers because of it. With ideas like capitalism and hoarding money, the land ends up suffering. And so it's yeah. Amazingly, here both of these traditions hold the feminine as the core bestower of abundance and responsibility. So again, we have these two traditions that meet in the center on a central theme. Okay, so the rainbow prophecy of the Navajo Seneca people speaks of the whirling rainbow woman bringing the rains, the waters. Now, what is water often representative of? Okay, so water is often representative of emotion, femininity. Okay, it's flowy. It's not sort of, I believe, water, air, fire, earth, and water. Earth is quite masculine. Is it? Is it? Yeah. Air and water are very flowy. Fire, earth, masculine. Anyway, the the whole point is you have this again, this little message, this little inclination towards a feminine sort of energy, an emotional energy. Now, when I talk about feminine, I always and will forever talk about the unification of the feminine aspects of the self and the masculine aspects of the self, both internally, excuse me, both internally and externally. Okay, so I never like to focus on one or the other because I think it's important to always consider both. I think that's a very important, valuable thing to do. Um, so let's come across again. So we have again this similarities between this Arthurian Native American tradition. That is not supposed to do that, but you've got all the information straight away. So we have here, without the rain, the three sisters will die, and the people will not be fed. Amazingly here, both of these traditions hold that, yep, the feminine as the core bestower of abundance responsibility. Apologies, guys, I was supposed to edit that one. The whirling rainbow is the promise of peace among all nations, and the Grail lies in waiting. So this is the Arthurian connection. The Grail lies in waiting for the right time to rematerialize into physical reality. So in the Arthurian tradition, it's very much whether you think it's a physical object or you think it's a metaphysical representation of principles and virtues and values of the self, which is what I believe Lucas and I are a lot more inclined towards, you again have this prophetic ideology that the Grail is coming back. Now, I like to think of the Grail as much like the Grail, much like what we talked about earlier. It'll come back to me. But the Grail, perhaps much like the whirling rainbow, is this representation of all of the qualities and virtues and principles of goodness. The other thing I was going to say is the Christ. Now, for those of you that aren't inclined towards religion and that element, I understand. I've used that word in that poem to represent. I'll come back to you guys for a minute. I've used that word in that poem to represent what I believe and feel is the highest idea of those principles and virtues. So we're talking about kindness, love, patience, peace, goodness, decency, being of service to others. Love. Did I mention love? Should have been first. Love. Okay. So that's why it's in there, because it's this all-encompassing wholeness. Okay, the round table is a wholeness. The whirling rainbow is a wholeness. Light is a wholeness. Okay, excuse me. just like the sun. The giant sphere in the sky is a wholeness, right? It's talking about all, unity. Just like David, raw material, okay? I can't remember a vast majority of what's in these books, but what I do remember, which is again like when we think about what we remember about what we read and what we come across, is that the things that hit me the most: love, patience, service to others, peace. That was what was the main message of these books, you know? And yes, you can have 90% of a good thing and 10% of lies and illusion woven in, that's fine. But what I remember from those books: love, service to others, unity, etc., etc. So let's go through a few comments, guys. Let's have a look here. Cosmo United says we need to stay together. I totally agree with you, my friend. Absolutely. Ships as in relation, friend, situation. Yes, Rico, and I'm also grieving much more than a similar trauma. Many close to me, beginning at 10 years old. Bless you, Suzanne. Sorry, I know it was more of a private reply. That's exactly what was part of my awakening, just knowing which ships to disembark in life. Love that, yeah. Cassie says, hold on, sorry. Cassie says, I grieve knowing that I took for granted the opportunity to interact with David personally through his lives. I had so much to discuss with him, but we will have to settle for meditating to communicate. Yeah, of course. And that's the hard look, you know. I mean, I don't know how I feel about going into this kind of a conversation, but there are ancient demonstrations in our world. Who's a pretty good example that multiple millions of people resonate with? Jesus or Yeshua. I don't want to go into that too much at the minute, but that individual was seeking to demonstrate to not be afraid of death, to recognize the wholeness of our world and know that beyond this challenging experience that we're having, that we are all one, we're together. And so David might not be here. This is 2 Sundays now that he's not been here, you know, 2 Sundays that you've had me, and David might not be here, but he is. I mean, look, he might be. I'm hoping he's absolutely alive. I know how you guys might feel about that, but it's possible, I suppose. If he's not, then he is still here. These synchronicities, these little jokey moments of the technical difficulties, I think they're little nudges. I think they're little nudges to certain things. But beyond this, when I die, I will reunite with all that is. I will become at one with all that is. That's just a personal feeling, a knowing, an understanding. It's why I'm not particularly afraid of dying. Why the concept doesn't cripple me with fear, because I know what I feel. Is it true? I don't know. Can I say for sure until it happens? I've come into a veil of forgetfulness, so not really, but I do believe that we're all here and we're all one. So there's that little easing of the heart, if you know what I mean. Leilu says, kudos to you, James. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Elizabeth says, thank you for clarification when you included Christ. Yeah, I did want to mention that, Christ consciousness. Yeah, I know, I want to be very respectful of all people's ideas and beliefs, as I know that you guys will probably be of mine. Mine are immensely neutral. I really, nature's very obvious to me. The sun is very obvious to me. I do believe that characters in our ancient past did do wonderful things. I really do. I believe that lots of people did. I believe that people do today and will do. I believe in unity, love, oneness, compassion. So that's, it's very basic, very simple. Very simple. It's like, who am I as James Malins? And living in this life, am I being of service? Where am I? What am I learning? That's kind of where I'm at with it. Celestial Rose says David spoke about Christ consciousness a lot. He did indeed. I know he did. That was I believe that it was a deep connection for David. Quite a faith really. Violet Lotus says there is definitely power in unity. I do believe that so many people's focused intention can change this world for the better. I agree with you too, and it's lovely that you're here because that's exactly what we're doing. Asana says, I'm so sad to have to leave early. I have another meeting in 10 minutes. No worries. Ironically, James, it is a native council meeting. I love that. Please would you message me? Love to all of you. Looking forward to next week. Love to you as well. If staying until the last possible moment. Well, Asana, if you haven't messaged me already, and I know a lot of you have sent me messages, I'm trying to get back to everybody as much as humanly possible. I'd love to know your a little bit more about that. You know, like I say, I'm kind of really looking to connect with individuals who know a lot more about native tradition than I do. So, you know, it would be lovely to connect with you. Willow the Wispy says, I think it's just the basic understanding that we are one, rather than the idea that we must help each other surrender to the greater self. Of course, you know, and I suppose it is nice to have the idea that, you know, if it's possible to help others, we can, but let's face it, you know, it's the old put on your oxygen mask first, you know, and I still believe in that, and I think it's unfair for the universe or anything to, you know, silly saying that, but, you know. Soul Coach Suzanne says, you are really stepping up your service to a new level, James, and I see this is truly going to help us take things to the next level. I appreciate that, and I hope so. You know, that's, as I say in the prayer, you know, the very last chapter, the very first sentence. I'm still memorizing it. It's only a couple of months old. Maybe that shows the truth. Thank you, Asana. Appreciate that very much. Is I walk this path in service to others. Yeah, first sentence. So, Violet says, in the law of quantum manifesting, you visualize and feel your desire as already having happened. And isn't it beautiful that a lot of what we're doing right now is that much? So, right, guys, let's keep going as far as we can. There is a lot more, but we can go through it next weekend. Again, my apologies, I didn't get a chance to fix these. So the rainbow race brings peace through the understanding that all races are one, which to me sounds a lot like the law of one of David's gifts to us all. Take care, Asana. See you later. I was very much rushing to finish these slides, guys, so sorry about that. They will learn to walk. I wanted to read this page separately. So what I will do, so this is the next page. So what we're going to do here, guys, is I'm going to go on to the next page here. So when I lived in Mexico, this is Jamie, and worked with the grandmothers, the Dreamtime Buffalo Society or Sisterhood had many prophecies derived from seers and dreamers that had come down through the ages. The prophecy of the whirling rainbow was very specific. When the time of the white buffalo approaches, the third generation of the White Eyes, children, will grow their hair and speak of love as the healer of the children of earth. These children will seek new ways of understanding themselves and others. They will wear feathers and beads and paint their faces. They will seek the elders of the red race and drink of their wisdom. These white-eyed children will be a sign that the ancestors are returning in white bodies, but they are red on the inside. They will learn to walk the Earth Mother in balance again and reform the ideas of the white chiefs. These children will be tested as they were when they were red ancestors by unnatural substances like firewater to see if they can remain on the sacred path. The generation of flower children have moved through this part of the prophecy, and some have remained on the sacred path. Others were lost for a while and are now returning to the natural way of being. Some were disillusioned and have forgotten the high ideals, very important, that gave them life when their hearts were young. But others still are waking up and quickening into the remembering. Grandmother Cece would look at me with her obsidian eyes piercing my soul when she spoke of the whirling rainbow prophecy, and I would feel my heart skip a beat and then fill with promise and love. She would tell me about the return of the buffalo to Turtle Island and how the herds would once again be numerous. After the time when the buffalo returned, the generation following the flower children would see the dawning of the fifth world of peace. Welcome, Heather. Thank you so much for tuning in. Grandmother Cece called the beginning of this fifth world the wobbly pony that on being born would try to use its legs. She said that the wobble would be felt by the Earth Mother, and changes would occur in the soil and waters inside the children of Earth. So I wanted to go through a few of these points with you. So we have here, they will learn to walk with the Earth Mother in balance again. And I find this very powerful and very important because this is everything we're talking about. Balance. We're talking about walking. Sorry guys, it's 3 hours in and I'm stumbling over my words very slightly. Let me have a drink. These children will be tested as they were when they were red ancestors. So I don't know about you guys, but I certainly have experienced that in the past few weeks and months. You know, it's really been a very challenging and testing time. But again, from it is birthed this wonderful unifying coherence within ourselves. Thank you so much, Heather and Free Queen. I appreciate you both very much. And so we have this presence, you know, this understanding of potentially what we're doing. And this, to me, this is everybody on the planet. It really is. Some were disillusioned and have forgotten the high ideals that gave them life when their hearts were young. The herds would once again be numerous, again, after the time when buffalo returned. The generation following the flower children would see the dawning of the fifth world of peace. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen... thank you so much, Logan. I appreciate you and agree with you very much. Susie, thank you for being here. Deb, astrologically, earth and water are considered feminine. Oh, okay. I apologise. So thank you for correcting me on that one. What's really interesting here is Lucas, Annie and I were watching a series or a film called The Nep Estate or Wilding. And they have been seeking to restore the herds, the horses, the cattle here in England. We don't have buffalo in England, but the horses and the cattle and the pigs, and allowing them the free walking of the land so that they can, live the way it should be. And then we have here the wobble would be felt by the Earth Mother and changes would occur again in the soils and waters. So I like to think of this in the way that the changes are beneficial and positive. That the soils, the changes would occur in the soil and waters. So we will have this ability to restore our land and have the support to do so. So, Soul Coach Suzanne says, this is a beautiful teaching and no apology necessary. Now we know how much it took for David to do these within his extremely... Yeah, I know. And I'll be honest with you. This is why I have so much love for David as well, because it's a fair amount. I don't want to get the violins out at the minute, but it's a considerable task to do something like this. So yeah, it's really hats off to David, that's for sure. Okay. So what I would like to do now, guys, is what I'm assuming is our 6th meditation. I can't believe we'd have missed one, but I'm hoping it's the 6th. If not, we might be one short this week. If you guys are ready, I would like you to close your eyes. Bring yourself to a place of presence. And when you're ready, obviously we're getting through a lot of information, so we'll slow it right down. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. In this meditation, I'd like to again say a few words and then have that moment of silence. Once again, I invite all of us to just imagine the center of our being, our heart. And imagine this beautiful world, this abundant global garden, which is spoken of in ancient philosophies and religions, this global garden, which is abundant and nurtures all people. Just imagine the love for this vision, imagining this together, just radiating out from your heart. And as it radiates from your heart, just like the winds of the four directions of the native peoples, imagine this love from your heart just whispering in the ears of those across the earth, those who feel lost, heartbroken. And imagine those whispers being things like forest gardening and horticulture, foraging, learning nature. These little whispers of encouragement, these little whispers of inspiration. Imagine from the center of your heart this radiant hand reaching all people of all nations, all creeds, awakening within them a deep desire to reconnect with our lands and our trees and our wildlife, our fruits, berries, nuts, flowers, leaves, shoots. This incredible global revelation of all people just being pulled, drawn to the land. Like a deep desire, a yearning. That, as the prophecy states, encourages everyone to drop their differences and align on a single beautiful, neutral, common cause. The restoration of planet Earth. May it be so from this day forwards and with all of our intentions. Danahoio, Namaste, and Amen. Give you just a little moment now to share and say, a little breather. Okay. So, when you guys are ready, bring yourselves back. We are 3 hours and 3 minutes and 33 seconds. That's so funny. We were 3 hours, 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the live, so that means that we have that was our 5th one. I apologise. No, I'm not being silly. It was our 6th one. Anyway, so that was our 6th one. So our last one, we're going to end at 3 hours and 33 minutes. I did slightly rush it before, so we'll kind of stop maybe in about 6 minutes. So there is a bit more I'd like to share, but it can wait until next week, and I like that, 3 hours and 33 minutes is quite a while, so we can wait for next week and we can just go by topic and explore all of these things. So we'll do our final meditation. We'll go back over to David's. I hope I have the right section, and we'll finish with that, and we'll finish our live at 3 hours and 33 minutes. A little ode to David. So, okay. Free Queen says, imagine how we're all sitting around a bonfire, campfire, with blankies and stars. I love that. Heather says, wow, beautiful. You've certainly gained a new follower. Your spirit is peaceful. Thank you, Heather. That's very kind of you. Bradine says, do you pay attention to the Schumann resonance? That's an excellent question. I have at times, but again, I found when you get jumps and spikes and moments of sort of darkness in it, I sort of have slightly steered away. I mean, look, like maybe if we check the Schumann resonance, maybe there's been a huge spike after today. That wouldn't that be lovely to see? But like I say, I tend to I don't follow it as much, but I do, of course, know of it 100%. A real creation says, appreciate this. Thank you very much for your words, my friend. Very kind of you. Free Queen says, I can't help but think of the timeline of David's departure. I know, and it's odd. It's odd. It's odd. Especially in this live, we're talking, we're expanding. I feel we're expanding. This idea of light. Like, to me, light is expansive. It expands. Especially with, I don't know if you've seen recently, but they were able to demonstrate that when a sperm meets an egg and the fertilization happens, a spark of light is given off, or light is emanated from the event. Isn't that miraculous? So train of thought has gone. Oh well. Bradine says, top messages 133. I can't. Is that? Can I see that? I love that. Well, again, thank you. Thank you very much to all of you for spending all this time. TZ says, thank you for this, James. It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. Great Popcorn says, you are very soothing and pleasant. Thank you for that. It's my honor. No, thank you very much too. I have the divine feminine in my life to thank for that. My partner, my mother, my nan, my auntie Julie, they were immensely loving women. My auntie Julie, my nan, deeply loving people, kind, compassionate, soft, gentle, incredible. My mother is genuinely, you don't like the idea of angel, then take it as it is. She's an incarnated angel, full stop. My father's the masculine in my life. My mother loved me impeccably. I know a lot of people say that, but genuinely, the way my mum has loved me throughout my life is impeccable. There's no fault. I'm grateful for that, and all people on earth deserve that. And this is why this is so important as well, because I feel that this gives an opportunity for more people to be able to have that space to love impeccably. It's not easy. It's not easy. We live in a world where it isn't easy to love that impeccably. We're surviving. We're trying to get through. It's hard. TZ says, will this be available as a recording for those who missed it? It will, absolutely. So if you go to the live section of my stream, you'll be able to see it. Great Popcorn says, you are very fortunate to have them. I am indeed. And I have no problem or ego to share that. I know I'm very fortunate for who I've been able to have in my life. And for those who haven't had that, my love goes out to you. And the beauty is that the love that you may seek in your world can easily come from you as well. I know you know this, preaching to the choir probably, but I want to say that anyway. The love that you deserve in this world, it's right here. Okay? Whirling rainbow. It's right here, right in the heart center. Deborah says, if we destroy Mother Gaia, we destroy ourselves. We restore our beloved mother, we are restored. Absolutely. And this is why I'm so passionate about the Arthurian tradition, the Native American traditions, because it's... Mum says, thank you, my dear son. Love you forever. Cool, I know you do. Love you too, Mum. I hope I didn't miss any comments, guys. Again, thank you all. I try to get through them all. Patty says, so grateful we can do this, a wonderful community to raise the vibration. Yeah, I agree with you. So Cassie says, yes, Suzanne, I was always told meditation is really supposed to be done by community for community. Absolutely, I agree with you. I love that we do more meditations. It's exactly what we needed. Yeah, and I like that, and like I say, David was a fantastic mind. I mean, I can talk the talk. I mean, I like to also spend time quiet. I like to listen to others, but seeing as you're watching me on this screen, I like to split it up a bit more. Free Queen says, pleased to digitally meet you, Mrs. Malins. Love it. I don't think my mother would be not a Faye. My mother would be upset with this. My mother's name's Teresa, for any of you who didn't know. And he says, my heart is with you. Lots of love. I love it, like a vibrational exclamation point. What did I miss? I like that. I don't quite know what you meant with it. Angels for Us says, thank you so much for this, James. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. It's not, this live isn't alive without you guys, so I appreciate the thanks, but it goes both ways. Tree Dog says, I love the idea of doing David's meditations. He left us so many over the years. He did, and we are going to finish with David's meditations. So we're 3 hours and 10 minutes, and we'll probably do it now. So let me just quickly come out of here. Was there anything in particular? We can go through it next week. We've done the Rainbow Prophecy. I'm happy we've covered that fully. We can do them next week. We can do the rest of what I wanted to share next week. So we'll do a part 2 and some. Yeah. So next week on Sunday, we'll do a part 2 and some, and we'll go through it that way. Logan says, I love this energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May we rise in divine sacred geometry as we come together in meditation all over the world. Absolutely, my friend. I completely agree with you. Soul Coach's answers, we are in good hands here as we grieve, share, love and support each other, hopefully for years to come. I'm here for the long run. Like I say, 3 weeks ago, I was getting ready to start sharing and, it's curious, isn't it? Very curious. Bevy, thank you as well. Appreciate you. Cosmo, thank you. James, thank you all. Patrick, thank you so much. Love you all very much. Right, guys. So let me just double check here. How long have we got? So if we start at 3:09, okay, so I want to make sure, so 3:09, it would be 20, so we haven't got time for that, but we'll go to here. Let's finish with this. Oops. Okay. All right, guys. So let me just go full monitor, double check. Desktop audio. Now you might hear me echo, but I'm going to shut up in a second. So let's press play. Let me know if you can hear it okay. Wait a minute.
Anyway, we're at the 19-minute mark now. So let's now do our global peace meditation.
So I'm going to try to mute
and
myself,
then we're going to close it out for today at the end of that.
Okay?
So here we go. I'd like you to close your eyes now, put both feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Let it go. Another nice deep breath in. Just let it go. Going deep into the silence, deep into the stillness. Feeling that peace flowing through us. And understanding that indeed we are never alone. The universe wants us to be happy. Wants us to be healed, wants us to be transformed in the light of everlasting love. And we find ourselves going into a deep personal silence, a deep stillness, awakening to our inner potential, feeling that grace of the divine shining down upon us now, bringing us to so much love. So much light, so much glory, so much radiance. Feeling that we can never be abandoned in the infinite universe, only transformed by the love that it has. Sending out our love to all these areas of conflict, praying for a peaceful resolution, praying for ceasefire, praying for all these things to come about that bring us into a higher consciousness, that trigger the awakening that we are seeking on a planetary level. Such goodness, such calm, such peace flowing through us, giving us hope, giving us joy, giving us remembrance, that we may again arise to our true calling, remembering who and what we are, from whence we came, and to where we are going. It's a great gift. It's a great journey to be alive in this cosmos, to feel that sense of satisfaction, of knowing that we are okay, The world will not be destroyed, just like we see with the day the earth stood still. Higher beings will intervene and prevent us from destroying our planet. We are not going to be destroyed. We are not going to be lost. We will be transformed in radiant light, in peace. There will be changes on earth, the likes of which we have never seen. And as we begin learning the truth about UFOs and what they really are, and that they've always been here, that they're not all threats, that they inspired all major religions, all major eras of history. They have been here to guide and to protect. There are others who are negative, yes, but that's not all there is. We will be restored. We will be renewed. We will have a new lease on life, a new perspective, a new way of looking at things that may be very different than what we've seen before. And we can rest easily in the knowingness that we are okay, that we will be preserved, that we will be kept whole and safe and peaceful, and that nothing can threaten us, because we are, in fact, all part of this divine cosmic bliss, part of this divine creation. We have every reason to be grateful, every reason to be hopeful, every reason to understand how these things change us, how we are transformed in this living radiance, and how we make a better world for all of us at the same time. Breathing deeply, enjoying the silence, living in that moment of truth, living in that moment of radiance. This is the great gift, to share in one another's breathing, to share in our joy, to share in our remembrance, to know always how deeply and truly we are loved. Nothing else can compare, for we have gotten to the point where our lives have been transformed. We are seeing these events unfold on earth, and we are seeing the changes in our own lives, and we know that we cannot be lost. We are found, we are renewed, we are indeed revivified by this living consciousness that wants nothing more than for us to know that it exists and that we are bathed in its radiance. We are glorified by its presence, and we feel such deep relaxation, breathing deeply into the silence, deeply into that stillness, deeply into that peace that restores us and revitalizes us and makes us who we are today, now, and forever. We are so grateful for the opportunity to have this healing occur on a planetary level. Let us hope that the wars can come to an end. Let us hope that we can find a pathway to peace. Let us hope that we can find understanding and a renewed appreciation and respect of one another in our boundaries and our sovereignty and what truly matters. Let us pray over all of our leaders and hope that they can restore peace on earth, bring us to an end of conflict, an end of everlasting fear, into everlasting love and trust and glory and joy and beingness and radiance. For this is what we really are looking for. This is what we really need at this point in time, to bring about a change in history, the likes of which we've never seen before, to bring about a renewal of the promise of who and what we really are and how we are going to get there. For this is a great time. It's a time to be alive. It's a time to be in bliss. It's a time to reach out to one another, to embrace one another, to uphold our highest and best ideals, and to know once and for all how truly and deeply we are loved. For thine is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right. So we're doing it. We're getting through all this, you guys. This is great. Smash the like button if you haven't already done so. Right now it's at 1,492, just like the number of Columbus. And let's see if we have one of these little ascension things here at the end that we can use. Hold on a second here. Yeah, this is one I read you last week, but I think this is 1 Corinthians 15, 51 through 53. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we shall be changed. The perishable body must put on the imperishable, and the mortal body must put on immortality. There you go. I read it last week, but that one is so beautiful, and it really has a lot of resonance with everything that's going on. So
Hello. Okay. So that was David's. This was streamed 2 weeks ago, which probably is actually more pushing 3 weeks. David Wilcock Live, The Crop Circle Prophecy. So that was last week. Sorry, James. 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. Getting muddled up. So beautiful. And isn't it interesting? There are a few things that made me smile in there, and one of them was restoration. It was talking about restoration of Earth. Patrick, it's my absolute pleasure, and thank you for tuning in. Nice meditation you picked. It's my pleasure. Again, it's just curious. Like I say, followed David for 8 years. It's interesting that everything that I'm very passionate about, and that we're actively, we're looking at. We were. What are the little? I'm getting little buzzy notification things. I don't know what they are, but one thing that we did look at was things like political parties, because then only for the case of being able to change things from the inside out. I don't the how is out there. We don't know the how, but all we know is that a lot of us are deeply passionate. We know what we feel. And so, like David said, the restoration, the sending love to the leaders, the people in the shadows, sending love to them. Because, it's that famous quote and understanding that we don't know what we don't know, and people don't know what they don't know. So those people in the shadows, the fact that they're doing these things, well, maybe they are, just a part of this big play on Earth. Who knows? But I can't think of a better thing to do with my time than just send that love. Not love that drains me, not love that takes from me, but just send that love. Because, this whirling rainbow is going to encompass everybody in abundance, love, compassion, goodness, decency. It's here. It's happening now. It's happening with us. It was happening with David. And the last live, Pathway to Peace, ? Well, pass the baton. The light of Albion, tend to the earth. It's very interesting. So, Soul Coach Susanne says, yes, so synchronistic restoration of the earth, isn't it? Interesting? Yep. Prince Royal, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for keeping the tradition, James. Much appreciated. It's my honour, my friend. Susie says, same Free Queen. Instant tears. That was, thanks, James. That was beautiful. It's my honour, and thank you again for being here and supporting all the moderators. Lucas, Annie, Celeste, Susie. Thank you so much for being here. And Celeste, you've been here a long time again. A lot of you have tuned in for a long time at the minute. I'm very grateful for you all. This is quite a period of time to tune in. Patrick says, thank you, it's my honour. The live is a meditation. Oh yeah, so sorry. If anybody was wondering what was going on, that was our last meditation today. I hope it was number 7. And we went with David's one from 3 weeks ago. Kristen Johnson says, by the way, in a parking lot on a car, I walked by the bumper sticker that said, you deserve so much love. I went to the driver who was in the car. We worked together and were wearing the same purple work shirt. I love that. Amazing. Susie says, he leaves such a big hole, let's try to fill it. Without a doubt, absolutely. Treedog says, good job, James. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the words. Kristen says, wonderful way to spend my day. That's lovely. I'm very grateful we can all facilitate this space together. By the way, TZ, I did see your comment about the community. Yes, the live chat will be available. Amazing to have you here, my friend. We will be here next Sunday as well, so if you want to come in and tune in. Today's live was all about the Hopi Rainbow Peace Prophecy, as much as a little bit about me, because I've come up on your screens, and I think it was important to share with you a bit about myself, although did I do a lot of that? I don't know. If you guys, so you'll notice that on the screen here, up in the top there, up in the screen here, a lot of people mentioned about Discord, Telegram, and how do we connect with each other afterwards. A lot of people mentioned how do we know when the lives are, can we keep updated. So I have created a Discord and a Telegram group, and there is a Facebook group called, ironically, the Restoration of Earth 2.5 Acre Forest Gardens, that was created a few weeks back. Or I changed my lion one to that one, so the name was changed a few weeks back. If you guys would like to come and join in the community, please go down to the description. There are a load of links there. You can click on those links and come and join us, and I'll keep people notified, when we're going live, any updates, on the Sunday as well. And like I say, guys, look, if you do me the honor, there is that little like button. Clicking that helps this to get out there into the world, to meet new people like TZ and David here, and Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here, Kimberly, and Deborah, and Free Queen, and Suzanne. As we do these more often, hopefully more of the community that loved what David was doing, and more of the community that resonates with what we're talking about. Let me just check, actually. Stream settings. Let me bring this all the way across, just so I'm not lying to you guys. Hopefully it's there. Let's have a look here. How do I see my... Well, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure I put it in the links. If I didn't, it will definitely be there. It will definitely be there afterwards. Jay Brady says, new follower from David's channel. Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for coming over. Facebook page is called Restoring Planet Earth. Thank you, Lucas. It absolutely is. But yeah, I edited the description, so the links should be in the description of this live video. There are 3 you can come across to. You don't have to join all of them, but different people wanted different spaces, and so I figured that, there are different features. With Telegram's kind of like an alert, so you can get when we're going live, keep you updated. Discord, you can have a proper chat in there. Hold on. Joie de vie, thank you so much. Joie de vie. See? Told you. I knew that was coming. Joie de vie says, God bless each and every one of us. Thanks again, James. Be back by the divine grace next week. You're a precious gift to us all. Now, bless you. Thank you for the wonderful words. It's very kind of you. I will be back here next Sunday. I'm going to go and have a nice hot bath, I think, and I'm going to go and rest. But you bet that I'll schedule that next live stream. So if you're subscribed, you keep updated, we'll definitely be there. So we've got 6 minutes of love to share, guys, before we finish this 3-hour and 33-minute live stream. Thank you, Celeste, so much for checking that. The links are definitely there. So if you guys want to go across, subscribe, join the group, you'll see Lucas in that group, and Annie as well. So Lucas is a fantastic gentleman, loves forest gardening. He's had his own forest garden for 17 plus years. He's been an advocate of the ringing cedars for probably longer, and he's a very dear brother of mine. So there's no one else who I would rather trust to hold that space in there. So you'll enjoy hearing bits from him about nature and wildlife. He's always getting connected to, we had a mink come the other day, which was really incredible. So yeah, feel free to come and join. So let's have a look here. Crystal Waters says, thank you again, James. It's my pleasure. Thank you for the love, guys. And this is what I'm saying, Sudden Eden, thank you for coming in again this weekend. I remember you're absolutely... let's hope we do have a Sudden Eden. Wouldn't that be lovely? You have all done a wonderful job of making this space a place of love, of appreciation, of gratitude, and that's what this is about. We've come here because we appreciated David and we had a lot of love for David. Here we go, guys. Let me put this back up. So we've come here because we appreciated David. He was with us when a lot of us were doing our own journey, going through life and going through the motions. We had David on Wisdom Teachings, on Gaia. It's unfortunate. It's a shame if Gaia has become a bit more of a darker I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't just say that out loud. People have made things about it. It's a shame, but that's where I met David, Oops. Sorry, guys. That's where I came across David, you know, and out of all the channels on there, out of all of the things, it was Wisdom Teachings that I went straight to, you know. So Cosmo United says sending love. Diana, my clock says 2:28, 5 minutes to go. Absolutely. Bradine says much love and appreciation to you, James. Thank you so much. And Soul Coach Suzanne, thank you all for being here. I'm so grateful to have all of you and possibly communicate in these other groups James created for us to get to know each other. That would be lovely. I mean, I've seen a conversation going on in the live chats, and that's fantastic. You know, we get to connect with each other. So it would be amazing for you guys to come over and connect in those groups. Love to you, David, and all of you. Thank you so much, Christine. Agree with you completely. Our community is part of David's enormous legacy, without a doubt. TZ says, thank you for providing this emotionally healing community. It's my absolute honor. Thank you for making the community what it is. You know, it's not a unity. Yeah, it's not a communicative unification of people if we don't come together. You know, so we have to communicate. We have to come here and be together. That's what makes community. You know, Jay Brady says, David's body of work was just extraordinary. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. Beautiful. I agree with you completely, my friend. I followed David for 25 years, from before Wisdom Teachings and Guide TV, but was there for everything. Love it. Absolutely love it. Cassie says, being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, we always believed the earth would be transformed into a paradise. Thank you so much, Cassie. There you go. Jehovah's Witness, people who are Jehovah's Witnesses have that same beautiful philosophy. Isn't that wonderful? It's mind-blowing how I have found this group in an amazing time loop, I know. Well, this is what we're going to be talking about. We know I like to weave in the ancient cultures. We'll bring in some celestial things as well, but it's really this. We've got our feet on Earth now. Our feet on Mother Earth. Mother Earth needs us as much as we need her. She needs our hands in the soil, planting those seeds, you know. So, guys, we have roughly a minute and 50 seconds left. You know, Katie says, great tribute to David's memory and his legacy. I want to share my deep found love for all of you. You know, this has been such an incredible door opening. You know, I think there are so many miraculous synchronicities. I can't wait to see what happens over the next few weeks. You know, you've all, like I say, you've brought your hearts and souls to these lives. You've brought yourself, your presence, and it's truly, truly wonderful. So, nearly there, guys. 3 hours, 32 minutes. We're going to stop. Let's try and do 3, 3, 3, and 3, 3, shall we? Free Queen says, wow, beautiful. And Annie Stroud, it is such a pleasure to meet you all. Great vibes. Thank you. Moderators, yes. I think I did say that, but again, for everybody who's moderating, which is checking comments, checking that this place is a safe place, please give them a round of applause. Say thank you to them in the comments. They've done a phenomenal job. I know Lucas and Annie have stayed up, you know, to be able to help with this. So, you know, it's Celeste. You're a wonderful person. Susie, thank you so much for doing this for us. It's really, really appreciated. So, guys, we're counting down now. 33 seconds left. There we go. Logan says, this has set the tone for my day here in Australia. I'm so grateful, my friend. You know, it's been a pleasure to spend this time with you guys, you beautiful souls, and we're doing it. We're going to bring peace on earth one way or another, whether it's with us, through the other people, whatever it is, it's happening. The whirling rainbow prophecy is going to be fulfilled, and we're going to see joy return to earth. So, love you all, my friends. 3 seconds. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.